So, Dave, how was Blood Diamond?
The game itself went great. All the mechanics worked very well.
We are very transparent, and we always say that we're our biggest critics.
Yeah.
Lay down and die was in the safety briefing, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was also in the rules that nobody read.
Oh, the criminals out themselves.
Walking back up to my respawn, and I see Jordan, and I hear Jordan say, like, let's pull up the video. So as soon as that happens, I'm like, oh, somebody thinks they caught something. And
I
Carnage.
totally understand why battle cries and motivational speeches are deemed as cringy and normie.
He literally said these words: I would go to combat with any of you any day. And I started laughing. And I literally turned to Mario after I was done laughing. And I said, Mario, I wouldn't go to combat with any of you. I was like, you would get us all killed. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Zulu 24 podcast. As always, I'm joined with Anthony from IDidn'tTakeMyADDmeds.com and Jordan from Zulu Outdoor. Actually, they're kicking in. I can tell.
Yeah, he's calmed down over the last 9 minutes. We started recording 9 minutes ago. You're not seeing the first 9.
We had to let Anthony get the giggles out, or the demons. I don't know what that was.
The impressions.
Oh, my God. Don't do it.
The Mike Tyson?
Don't do it.
The Mike Tyson
No, don't
impression?
do it. Don't do it. No.
Christ.
So, Dave, how was Blood Diamond?
You were there. No, I'm just kidding.
I was taking photos.
Ow, fuck.
I want to know how it went because I was doing sweatshop labor the entire day.
I was running 11 and a half miles up and down hills. Game went great. The game itself went great. All the mechanics worked very well. Brian, the green team commander, is the first time he's done any sort of like leadership for us. He did a fantastic job. And the game itself went well. My team did great. I was commanding the Sandline forces, the TAN team. And it was like right at game out, we started out exactly on time, so I'm happy with that, dude. Fucking 10 o'clock, 000 fucking game on. I fucking love that. Like the first 2 hours for us, we were like still kind of getting our footing down, and like somebody on my team was hot micing for minutes at a time.
Yeah. So while I was walking around taking photos, I walked by one of the staff members and I just hear you over the radio. Can we just check green team and make sure no one's doing any kind of electronic warfare? And I just cracked up laughing. I was like, that's fucking radio problems to a T.
Well, so the only reason why I even did that is because somebody on my team was like getting heated about it. I knew
that's fucking annoying.
I knew it was somebody on our team.
Hot micing for minutes
at a time.
That is really fucking annoying.
And I kept trying to like break through and just be like get off the radio. Yeah. I'm trying to coordinate right now, and I have other squads that are actually communicating back. So like, there's some potential here to like actually do some cool shit.
That's a drawback of having radios be a part of that.
I don't know.
Platoon structure. Like, it's awesome when it works, but all it takes is one motherfucker to hot mic for minutes to destroy.
It was consistent. So I don't know if they just, where they had it, like their sling on their gun was just hype micing, because I could hear everything, and then I could hear for minutes at a time, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to tell squad 2 to like start pushing right now while squad 3 suppresses. Like, I can't. So I had to basically World War I it and run. And so I was running from squad to squad. I had a squad in new CQB, and I told them, I said, hey, I just want you to be like a blocking position. I just want you to keep a corridor open, some white space, so that we can get to PAA.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to be contested the entire time. So if you get to a point where you think you need some fucking backup, let me know, because I had a squad in reserve. And because of this hot miking and shit, I would only get snippets of what I think it was squad 6 or 5. I can't remember. I was only getting snippets of it. And so I couldn't really tell, like, it sounded like he was just calling out enemy positions. And then once the hot miking stopped, they're like, this is squad 5 walking back to respawn. I was like, fuck, man. I sent squad 7 down there anyway, but it was just like incredible. So anyway, somebody on my team was like, there's got to be some electronic warfare. And so I radioed to the refs, kind of just like, I know that it's just shitty Baofeng radios. Like, I know that it is, but just in case, I'm going to do my job.
Yeah.
And I just radioed over there. And I think I even said like, hey, it's probably not happening.
I'm curious because being a radio nerd, so stock settings on a Baofeng, if you hold the push to talk down for more than 60 seconds, it cuts you off. It has a transmit over time.
What setting is that?
It's literally when you're cycling through your settings, it's TOT, transmit over time, and it'll say 60. So if you hold the push to talk down for more than 60 seconds, when you get to 61, it stops transmitting.
Sure. And then if you repress it, it transmits for another, and that's what was happening.
Well,
It's like fucking minutes.
Radios could be so cool in Airsoft, but like it's not cared about enough. And maybe I'm making a big deal of nothing, but like the biggest thing with Baofengs is hot miking by accidentally pressing the button in your pouch.
And accidentally pressing the emergency button.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of it too. You don't even need a 3D printer to do it, but there are like free files online, and there are people that sell these just a 3D printed thing that goes on your Baofeng.
Yeah.
It's like just a guard around the button so that you can't like hit the button by mushing the side.
And specifically on a Baofeng, the push to talk on the radio itself is actually extended out a little bit from the radio, so it's much easier to do.
I also almost wonder what if he was playing around with his radio and turned the Vox setting on, because when you turn that on, it's voice activated push to talk.
Could be.
So I wonder if he had that turned on. So every time he's just like, he starts fucking keying up his mic.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, man.
It was pretty bad. And so that was the morning. So I was running up and down hills and like I was trying to get a coordinated push down towards the helicopter, right? So we could get the flight recorder. So I had 3 squads kind of set up, and they were going to be the maneuver element. And then the original plan was for me to basically shoot squads out. Squads will
Party foul.
Yeah. Squads will collect as many diamonds as they can, get them to me, and I was going to go straight down to PAA and launch mortars to suppress green, and then give us a chance to bump up past the helicopter, grab what we needed, and then fall back to that tree line. And I guess green had the same plan, and they beat us to the PAA. I'm not going to say it's because of the radio issues, but it might have been because of the radio issues. But so then they did the same thing. But the only problem is when they called in their mortars, they called it on themselves. And
There's a reoccurring theme all day.
Yeah, and they killed. I will say this, Tan, every time we called in mortars, it was on enemy positions, and we didn't have any friendly fire incidents because of the mortars. I talked to Brian afterwards, and he was like, yeah, that was just like a rogue squad leader went down there and did that. And I was like, well, that rogue squad leader killed like 18 of your dudes.
Yeah, there was like 3 incidents throughout the day that were like fracture side of green team mortaring themselves.
Was Brian green team?
Brian was executive outcomes.
And
commander.
Will was PAA?
No, Will was Will Hunter. Yeah, Will was PAA.
Will is the perfect PAA.
He's good at it.
He is. Yes.
He understands the assignment.
He does.
And he does a fantastic job of that.
Also, just like Will's aesthetic too is so fitting for that kind of role too.
If shit went bad in the U.S., Will would be doing the same thing.
Will would be a warlord if
He is one.
if shit hit the fan. Will would become a warlord.
He would have like this lore to him.
Yeah.
And before you met him, you'd be like, oh my God, there's this like crazy fucking warlord. And you'd go to meet him, and he'd be sitting on a throne made of skulls. And then when you walked up to talk to him, he'd be like, yo, what's up, man? Like nicest guy in the world, like drinking blood from a chalice, but he's just like, hey man, what's up? Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, like you'd be surviving in the apocalypse, like you're getting surrounded by this group of bandits with skull masks, and then they take you prisoner, and you're like, I am so fucked. And then they take you back to their HQ to meet the boss, and it's Will, and he's like, take off his mask, and then they take the rag off your head, and he's just like, oh shit, what up, Dave?
Yeah. Like, oh, okay, I guess this isn't so bad. Well, if you say the wrong thing, I'm going to boil you and have my guys eat your flesh. But
yeah. No. They're just like, boss, we got to kill him. He's dangerous. He killed 5 of our men. He's just like, you lay a finger on him, I'll boil you to death.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, he understands the assignment. It's good. But yeah, so we had radio issues. But then we had this moment of brilliance, right? It was from about noon to about 3:30. Our team got our shit together. And whoever was hot micing, I don't know, figured it out or whatever the fuck. and
Or went to get lunch.
Yeah.
Or based on the breathing, maybe they just got tired and they packed it up for the day.
Yeah.
They actually heat cased and we never found him.
Yeah. And so comms were good. So then at that point we had to plant a bomb at the embassy. And
You censored the word for us.
yeah. And so the plan was we had basically most of our squads. We had a flank security in the south side of CQB, and then we had 2 or 3 squads already basically pinning green inside the embassy. I mean, green was probably already going to stay there anyway because that was what they needed to defend, but we pinned them in place, right? So we did like a crescent around them, pinned them in place, and then I hired PAA as reinforcements, and then also mortars. So we had this coordinated fucking attack where mortars hit and then everybody pushed, and it was kind of ruined by airsoft. It was like we launched the mortars impacted. That was the signal to fucking jam it out. And I'm hearing the battle damage assessment or whatever, and they're like, dude, you just killed like 18 fucking dudes, like 18 bad guys. And I'm like, great, fucking push now. And then over the radio from one of the fucking squads that was supposed to be pushing, I hear, what's the rules with the like, there's still guys inside the building and you like put mortars. I'm like, shut the fuck up and attack. What the fuck? No, don't worry about that right now. We killed 18 fucking dudes. That means there's 18 less fucking dudes in there. Don't worry about, but there, like, what'd you think? We were going to drop mortars on it and then we were just going to walk in? Like, hey, there's interior walls inside that building. And if they're behind cover, then they're fine. Right. And I was so pissed off because I was like, the initiative is gone because you couldn't deal with the fact that everybody inside that building's not dead.
You just need one person to, as cringy as it is, do like a charge.
Yeah, no, for
like
real.
it takes one person to get up and be like, "We need to hit that building now."
Yeah, and
get a couple people excited, and they start going, and then everybody goes.
Yeah, and it was at that, like, we lost the initiative just as fast as we gained it, and just because somebody was like, "Wow, wait a minute,"
Over the radio.
Yes,
too?
over the radio.
Everybody heard.
So so everybody heard it, and I was just like, "Shut up and push! What are you talking about?" Yeah, some motherfuckers survived, but we killed 18 of them, and like that's 18 less. Like, and we have 2 squads plus. Fucking push. Yeah, but they're supposed to shut the fuck up. Shut up. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Fucking get after it. I was so pissed off. I was so fucking mad. I was just like, you just wasted the fucking fantastic opportunity.
Do you know what would be cool?
So then we got bogged down because everybody hesitated because they were like, but wait, the fucking border. Shut the fuck up. And everybody fucking hesitated, and they never even left the tree line. Like, nobody fucking moved. And so that pissed me off. So then I got up front, and I was just like trying to low crawl. But at that point, green had already seized back the initiative. And I was just like, yeah, we missed it. We missed that opportunity because some fucking person on the radio, and I don't even know who it was like, but in airsoft, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Start shooting at the fucking windows and move. Like, that's literally it. Don't get bogged down in this fucking, they should have all been dead. Shut up. If they should all be dead, then fucking shoot them.
Do you know what I think would be really cool? If after you do a Zulu event like this, you get all the team leaders together. So in this case, it would be you, Brian, Will. All right. And you get Jordan there, and you guys have a map, and you guys
I was about to say this.
You create a timeline like an AAR.
Yeah,
and then you make
tabletop.
And then everybody that went to the event, now eventually they can wait for this new video to come out. That's the AAR for the event. And you will be able to show exactly what happened with that mortar in that moment. Anybody who was there would be like, oh.
That's actually a great idea.
Because then what it will do is it'll emphasize to the people that were there, these were the comms issues we had.
Yeah.
This is why that mortar attack didn't work. This is why a bunch of green died because they were mortaring themselves, and it's something that I think would be funny to look back at. And I'm sure it would be more work for Jordan, but I'm sure people would have footage to submit.
Well, not even that. I also,
at key points to be like, oh yeah, this is some footage of that happening.
Yeah.
Actually, someone already did. I woke up to an email in the Zulu 24 clips email that was just like Tan Team's final attempt to push green. And I'm like, what? And I click on it. I was like, oh, somebody sent me gameplay footage. Nice.
Yeah.
How difficult is it if a bunch of people are sending you Contour, GoPro, even chest cam with their phone footage? If they send you all this footage, how hard is it for you to timestamp all of it? Do some formats give you the timestamp already?
Yes.
Is it based on the camera settings?
Yes.
If the camera date and time is wrong?
So
it's
like
messed up?
on these, all the camera dates and times are correct because I keep them like that for my organization. But I also know like a bunch of my contours still think it's 2005.
Yeah.
So if you don't go through and set the date and time on your camera, it's not going to be accurate. But much like I've told many people before, I can usually tell what time of the day it is based off of the lighting in the field.
Yeah.
So like if it's all of a sudden looking,
that's some Reddit doc shit.
yeah, I'm hyper autistic with it, but you can tell like right now it's 10:30 in the morning. It looks like this almost every day. It's sunny at 10:30 in the morning. At 5 o'clock when the sun's starting to go down and it's starting to get a little glowy, like yellow out, you can tell, oh, this is like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
You're a down to earth dude, man.
Yeah. But
Salt of the earth.
You're an outdoor man.
When
You're a
Dave
real
was
man
starting to
type,
talk
man.
about how the game started and they were going to push down and green team came in, the first thing that came to my mind was we should have had Brian here so we could have done this from both perspectives.
Yeah, I think it'd be fucking great.
I don't think it's too late. I'm sure if
No, we can still do it.
Yeah.
Because I just ordered the new maps for the.
Yeah. Did you intentionally use a different version of the map for that?
I did not intentionally use it.
Oh,
it just
okay.
I had already sent out the emails to everybody.
Oh, okay.
Before you sent, like the day prior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like the improvised map. So anybody watching, new CQB is not a new mosque, right? The updates to that part of the field, they're not like on the map that was used for the event. So Dave just took it and put a big rectangle over it with a question mark.
The question mark.
Yeah.
I think in the
It's like, who's that Pokemon?
yeah in each team's warning order, it was written in like there must have been some sort of jammer or whatever. Our satellites couldn't get a clear picture, whatever the fuck.
Which is actually kind of cool.
Well,
Because then there was no map to look at of the layout to be like, oh, this is how we'll do it.
Well, it was kind of funny
Which makes the new CQB even that more interesting when you have to figure it out as you go through it.
Yeah.
because Brian was in here Friday night and him and I were talking and hanging out. And I was like, oh, what are you talking about with the map? He's like, dude, this map's kind of ass. And he's like, he pulls up and shows it to me. I was like, why did he send you that map? And he goes, what are you talking about? And I pulled up the new map and he looks, he goes, what the fuck? Send me that. And I go, whoa, hold on. If Dave didn't send this to you, there's probably a reason. He's like, he's trying to get a one up on me. I was like,
No,
I don't think
not
it's
at all.
that. And I looked at the black box. I was like, what if he's doing this in a way that like, it makes it confusing because you don't have the building layout. So both teams are working with a shitty map. He's like, when did you make that? I was like, like a week ago, man.
Yeah. I literally sent
No,
that.
you need the huge map of the county where like the actual field is like this little dot and you have to try to get coordinates. They're pulling out like the little fucking.
No, I wanted it. I did want CQB to be ambiguous because I didn't want people to revert back to not using the grid. And I also liked that there was a little bit of error. Like I sent mortars into the new CQB and I just kind of like rough guesstimated where the center was and then quartered it from there to try to bracket it in. I didn't kill anybody. And I like that about it. I like that you couldn't just see the building that you wanted to hit and then instantly reference that grid.
Yeah.
Even though in real life, you do see the real building and they got numbers on them and everything.
How is the mortar, like the actual mortar in the blanks? How is it running? Any hiccups with the?
A little bit.
Are you still gluing the metal BB to the blank?
So the
Still
problem.
works?
So what's happening is that when they fire around, sometimes the shell itself, the shotgun shell itself, ejects itself into the bottom of the.
Oh, before the whole round?
No. After it fires, and then they'll take it out and try to fire another round without looking in. So then, when that round comes down, it hits the previous shell, and then they're like, "Oh, dud!" And then they rip it out, and then the BB falls off. Like there's a lot going on, and also there can be an accumulation of BBs in the bottom of there that can potentially also do the same thing. So we just have to clean it out.
Because I think PA
how's the swinging door on it? That's still like
we keep it open.
Yeah,
when you fire it, you just keep it open.
Because when I went down there at like 4:30, Will looked at me. He's like, "You have any super glue?" And I'm like, "In the shop, why?" And he just had 6 rounds that the BBs had fallen off of. I'm like, "Ooh, that sucks, man."
You don't have to be like hyper careful with them, but you can't be banging them on shit either. Like,
Yeah. Like one PA player was a little rough when he was taking the round out and knocked the BB off before he even put it into the mortar shell. I'm like,
Yeah, you just got to
be a little more gentle, guys.
It's not even being gentle. You just have to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Is it a perfect system? No. But
Can I see one of the mortars?
no.
One of the rounds?
Nope.
Because I really think that like very simple, cheap, I can print like probably 20 at a time and it'll be a quick print.
You know what you can do? You can help Dylan and I.
If there's like a quick little thing that could be printed that just goes on the bottom and holds the BB in place so it doesn't have to be glued.
You can put tape.
Yeah, but like
I'll tell you what, I will let you go full nerdtism and help Dylan and I out because we had this idea for Milsim days and potentially other ops where we make another version of the mortar, but it looks like 120 or 150 millimeter howitzer.
so bigger.
A little bit bigger, but also so it looks like an actual artillery piece. And what we want to do is make it so when you pull the string, eventually, essentially, kind of, you know how like the shed out there has the spring loaded piece on the bottom to hold the door closed?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So when you pull the actual string, hits a point on the spring where then it just shoots it forward and it sets off the round. So it would be a blank fire 150 millimeter or artillery piece.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down to help with that.
You
Yeah,
can totally
help
help
with
with that.
And how did the mechanic also go as far as like giving coordinates, communicating that with staff and them throwing
was good.
and they were just throwing tag-ins?
Yeah, I had a meeting Thursday before the game with all the staff that was going to be there, and I reiterated and went over again. You know, basically, some people don't know how to read, and there was people on my team that didn't know how to read a grid map, and or they reverted to video game. Like if you ever played Squad, when people give grids, they give you like the two main grids, and then they'll say keypad 9. So you know, on a computer, the keypad, they'll reference that. That's just a video game thing. And I had one guy kept doing that, and I was like, dude, it's so much easier just to read the grid than it is to say keypad fucking 5. Like keypad 5, I know what it means, but maybe somebody else doesn't, and all the information you have is in front of you. So I had to convert. Sometimes when people would give me those grids, I would just convert it to actual grids and give that. The staff was good. No, there was never a point. There was never a point where I think they like hit the wrong grid. And even if there was a point, that's kind of intentional. There's supposed to be a little bit of lag time and also a margin of error. And so that's.
Are the new tag-ins loud enough?
Yes.
Are they just as loud as the old ones?
No, the old ones are louder, but these are loud enough. They're audibly distinctive from like EG67s.
I want to compare it to the really loud Bang 22.
We give it a shot. But the other thing we did too, just to drive the point home, was that after they threw the tag, they also threw a red smoke.
Right.
And so it was also a visual, like, okay, that was a red smoke. So that's,
Yeah, I liked that.
yeah, that's a mortar impact. That's not, and we purposely didn't sell any red smokes. Like we kept those aside.
Is that going to be
did anybody
the
bring
plan
red
moving
smokes?
forward?
I don't know.
Okay.
If we get a big enough thing, then the red smoke becomes kind of not necessary. I only incorporated the red smoke because I thought that the AFG 4s,
Yeah, you're
tiny little
using the
guys,
tiny ones.
because I was like, man, they could be mistaken. I think during Crossroads it was hard because there was a lot of pyro going off, and it was hard to distinguish the AFG 4s from like a bunch of EG67s.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give like just another visual.
Is it possible to get RD Sims as a civilian?
I don't know. I don't know. RD Sims. Okay, so RD Sims are like dangerous.
Yes.
They're super fucking loud.
They're
Yeah,
incredible.
but they're super dangerous.
And they whistle.
and they whistle. Yeah.
I've been pretty close to some.
Yes, so have I. Twice. They're fucking dangerous.
They'll kick rocks up for sure, but they themselves don't really throw shrapnel, from my experience.
Shrapnel, no. Concussive force, yeah.
Yeah, dude, they're no
Like
joke.
you actually have to be wearing hearing protection if you're within 20 feet of that.
Yeah.
It was cool when West Point used to do the Combat Classic. It was a big paintball game many years ago. The first one I went to, they had cadets using blanks, like saws and everything, and they were using RD Sims. It was fucking awesome, dude.
When you're doing like an FTX and when the lane walker comes out to like deploy the RD sim, right? Like you don't know that there's a call for fire on you. Like you don't hear anything because it's all notional, right? So you don't hear mortars coming and that's your indication to move. You just see a lane walker casually walking up to you, right? He's like making eye contact. He pulls it out and he pulls the pin. And you're just like, no. And you try to get up and he's just like, sit back down.
Take it.
Well, so that's kind of the fun part with the mortar we have, because I didn't know, or I didn't realize at least, that some of the PAA players didn't realize there was an effect on the other end. So I was down around 4:30 down in Newtown watching the mortar go off. I needed to get more video, and you watch them drop the round, and then you hear the bang off in the distance, and one dude turns around and he's like, "Wait, that was the mortar?" And I go, "Yeah, dude. Like we throw grenades on the other end." He's like, "Oh, I thought you guys were just walking over, looking at an area, being like, everybody in this area is dead." And I'm like, "Oh, that's fucking lame. We're not going to do that."
Yeah, it's lame.
He's like, "So all day, every time we send a mortar out, you guys have been going and throwing a grenade?" I'm like, "Uh-huh.
That's why there's grids.
Yeah, that's why there's grids." And he's just like, "That's dope as fuck, man."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the mechanic itself were great. Green was fratriciding the fuck out of themselves. They
Evan,
like
you killed 18 of your own team.
like multiple. I think two times they just wiped themselves.
Yeah. Actually, that was the 431 because PA only had 3 mortar rounds left. So Evan was sent down there by Brian, and they're just like, "We need to get rid of these 3 rounds so Tan Team can't come down here and use them on us." Yeah. And I just hear Brian over the green team radio go, "We have a squad at Mosque, no contact. We have a squad in New CQB, no contact. We have a squad in African, no contact." And Evan's like, "Where do I put these 3 mortars?" And you just hear somebody on green team go, "They're in the trenches outside of African. Put it in African." He's like, "All right, cool." He like pulls up the grid. Bing, bing, bing. Okay, cool. Put it here. Refs walk out there. They're like, "You have 18 confirmed kills." Fast forward an hour. They're like, "Yeah, that was 18 green players."
Yes, it was.
Killed his own team.
So I had taken the remainder of Tan. So we had that moment of brilliance, right? And then Airsoft ruined it. Yeah. And then after that, it was like I had my full team doing this. It was fucking great. And then I died, went back to respawn, was coming back out and like gathered up another 10, 20 guys. And then there was nobody else. And I went back down to staging to relube my boss unit, because I just remembered I hadn't lubed it. And it was being a little funky, and as I'm coming down the back trail, I look and it's just a sea of tan players down in fucking staging. And I was like, I don't see a single green player down here. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what the fuck is happening?
Snack time.
Oh yeah. Everybody's,
Well, yeah, had you walked off the field at noon, it was all green.
maybe that's the reason for our moment of brilliance, but
They had like 6 empanada flavors that day. You got to let them have.
dude, I was like, God damn it, dude. Like, fuck, man. Everybody's tum-tums got hungry at the same time. But anyway, so I took those 20 guys and I went back up and I was like, hey, dude, like this might be all we have right now. Everybody's down there eating or jerking off or doing whatever. And so we did like a 13 county super flank.
Yeah.
And we went over to African and we skirted African through trenches.
Yep.
And I saw one of the guys see us and he didn't engage. He just ran over into one of the buildings. And I heard him say to some other people like, oh, there's tan in the tree line over there. He must not have seen us go all the way around.
Yeah.
Because we ended up going through like Vietnam.
Oh, you guys went deep.
Yeah, we went deep. And then we were setting up.
How many guys?
Oh, we had 10 or 12 at that point.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we were setting up to push Fuel Depot.
Okay.
And because we wanted to hit Fuel Depot and then get into the backside of CQB just to like make have a presence there. And over the staff net, I hear, well, somebody was like, let's mortar their fucking.
Oh yeah, that conversation happened too.
Yeah, their respawn. And I was like, that's Brian. And I was like, so I radioed back like, tell that player he should never play Airsoft again. But I knew it was Brian doing that, so it was more of a joke than anything. And but then I heard the real fire mission come over. I just heard the grid, and I didn't pull my map up. Like I don't use the admin radio to gain advantage, so I didn't reference the grid. I don't even remember the grid, to be honest with you. I told the guys that I was with, I was like, hey, they're probably about to drop mortars, so we should probably fucking move. And But by this time, we were already set up to assault
Fuel depot.
Fuel depot.
Yeah.
So as we were assaulting Fuel Depot, which there was only one guy there, and like 12 of us come out of this, he killed me, but then it was just like, as we're assaulting Fuel Depot, the mortars hit
Down in trenches. Yeah.
right? Or down in African or whatever. And I hear the BDA like, 18 casualties. And I was like, and I'm like doing a head count with our guys. I'm like, I don't know, man. All our guys are here. I was like, I wonder if another group followed us down there and they just got schwacked. So then we fight up into CQB. We gain a foothold in CQB. And then we die from grenades and all that. It was a good time, actually.
Actually, yeah, because by the time that happened, I had found you guys in CQB.
Yeah. And so I didn't learn that was a friendly fire incident until
later
until after the game was over. So 2 times the green team schwacked their own guys with mortars.
Yeah. A+.
What was like the team chain of command structure like? There was like the team leader, and then you had a bunch of squads.
So there was the commander.
Yeah.
Brian had set up Will, not PA Will, as his XO. And then, so you had squad leaders and then dudes in the squad. So ideally, and this is how it should work,
And
is
then
that
a squad leader had a radio.
correct.
And right. So
So the squad, so I gave them the option when I did the rosters, I give each squad their own frequency just in case they want inter-squad communication. But the squad leader should be the only one in the squad that's on the command net. Because I don't care. I don't need to talk to fucking Saw Gunner number 3. I need to talk to the leaders, right? So ideally, like on our team, we had 7 squads. So ideally, I'm only talking to 7 people, right? And I think that, I don't know if that confused people or if people in squads were just like, oh, well, I want to talk to the commander. Because there was definitely more than 7. And it was just, and again, the heavy breathing and all that shit. I was just like, what the fuck, man? And you can also like Baofangs fucking blow in terms of radios. They fucking suck. Like they get stepped on. They're awful. Our admin net or ref channel or whatever the fuck, we use different radios. They're fantastic. They were clear all fucking day. Like there was no garbled. Somebody had the mic all the way down their throat. Some people's radios just sucked. So when they transmitted, it was just like.
So there's a way to make a Baofeng not suck like that.
yeah, like I don't have these issues with.
That's
Yeah.
because I've programmed yours. This is radio knowledge for people watching.
I've
There's
learned
like
how to
3
program
settings.
it to not suck.
Well, there's 3 settings you need to
blow.
know.
They fucking blow.
Yeah, they do. Once you adjust these 3, it kind of helps. Like we had a big issue for a while where the air traffic control would like step on our radios and you get the like just randomly. That's because stock settings on a Baofeng, they have their frequency bandwidth set to wide. So the old RefNet was 4676125 because it was set to wide. You would get way more than just that net. Set it to narrow, set your power to high, and actually turn your frequency bandwidth and then actually pick a good channel that's not going to be used by other frequencies, because if you do that and you have a very specific net, it'll work.
Yeah.
Our staff radios have that plus an offset.
Yeah.
That's what stops it.
Well, I think in the future, so I always use FRS channels when I do frequencies, simply because, you know, maybe somebody that has a radio that isn't programmable. You know, maybe they went to Walmart and just bought a fucking radio, right? And so that'll allow them to talk with everybody. But I think in the future, I'm just going to like pick a range of frequencies and like obviously not FCC controlled, and just use those as opposed to the fucking
anything
FRS.
in that FRS range you can do.
So there's the offset setting, but then there's like the R and T.
So one's for receiving and one's for transmitting.
Yeah, now that's also technically an offset.
Yeah, that's because that's
CTCS.
what the staff radios use.
Right.
Yeah.
But then there's also the offset mode.
Yes. Yeah, just keep that off.
Now, what would that do?
So it's kind of like if you have a Motorola Talkabout, you know how it'll have like channels 1 through 25, but then it'll have sub channels.
Yeah.
It's that, because
Right.
that's a big problem where like a lot of players will come in here from time to time. Like my friend has a Baofeng, but I have this Motorola Talkabout from Walmart. And even though I'm on channel 1 and he's on channel 1, why can't we talk to each other? And it's usually because one of them is on channel 1, sub channel 1.
Which is different than the CTCS.
Correct.
Right. Because with the the staff Motorola's, I can
There is-
talk to that with the Baofeng by using the CTCS.
Yes, that's because I went through and found the Motorola frequency bandwidth because they're also on the FRS frequency.
Yeah.
But there is an offset on the transmission and the reception of it. So because of that, you can program a Baofeng in the same way I can program in my TRI and TCA 152s.
Yeah.
It really boils down to if you take like the hour to get your radio settings right, you can make it work. Most Baofengs out of the box are set completely wrong and they suck ass.
There's some Baofengs that don't let you like even choose certain frequencies.
Yeah, that's the newer ones. And a lot of time that's also because of something on the settings. Because it may be set to UHF or VHF and you're trying to put the opposite in and then it won't let you go into that frequency range because the radio doesn't think it can.
You know what would be useful, I think, when you do an event like this and you give them a frequency? If you have a card that is the 1 through 60 for every setting on the Baofeng, and it's like, if you want your channel to actually work, this is what all of your Baofeng settings need to be.
No, I don't think that's the point. I think what you need to do is what Brian did.
They just take the card, right? Or look online at the card. They have their radio. They can do it at home before the event. And they just go through the menu and they just make sure every single menu option exactly reflects that card. And then they can save that channel.
You don't even need to do that. You just need to do what Brian did. He had Will set up right over there with his laptop and he told everyone on Green Team, hey, do you have a Baofeng? And they went, yeah, I do. And he went, go in the shop and see Will. And Will would just plug the Baofeng into the computer and program it for him.
That too.
So
yeah.
See, stuff like that is what I want commanders to do. It's also a drawback of me being I don't want to be a commander in my own events because there's 999 things that I have to do just to make the event happen.
Yeah.
And so I can't dedicate the time necessary, even as simple as setting up a laptop and doing people's radios. I can't devote that time. I need to find someone else. You know, we always say Max and Ian, but they're
Grimner.
Well, but they're, you know, they have life shit happening.
Yes.
I need to find somebody else who wants to be a commander, who can do the commander role, think of shit like that, like making cards and shit, and then have the time to actually do it. Because I'm so bogged down with creating rosters, dealing with ticket transfers, fucking
I mean, you can also just
coming up with fragos and all that shit.
Too, because then when the game starts, you already have inside baseball knowledge.
Well, that
exactly, and I try not to use that. And I know every stick, leaf, twig out here. I know every route. I know every potential choke point. Like it's
nice.
I was telling Brian afterwards, because Brian was like, dude, that was so much fun. He's like, man, you don't make any like tactical mistakes. He's like, you're like a tactical genius. And I was like, no, I'm not a tactical genius. I have mega ultra home field advantage.
Yeah.
I know everything out there. Like I have played this game inside, outside, upside down. And I know, and that's not good. I should not be commanding. The problem is that there's
no one else.
There's nobody that wants to do it. And it sucks because ultimately, potentially Brian's team and Brian's squad leaders had a better experience because he was able to devote the time to set up their radios or send out emails or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just don't have that ability. I can't do that.
It's nice if you could find a commander like Brian and Will that will do all of that. But when there's the scarcity of the commander and you have to be commander and you have to play dumb, like you don't have that home field advantage, and you don't have the time. I mean, you could just get one of the guys on staff. Like Jordan knows how to program Baofengs on the computer. I'm sure Dylan knows.
Yeah, but I also have another 5 things I got to do.
I'm sure Dylan knows. I'm sure months leading up to the event, Jordan and Dylan can sit down one time.
Yeah, but I can't listen.
Or Jordan can teach one of the guys on staff really quick. Like, okay, with this computer, this is what you're going to do with the Baofeng. Like, you can just delegate just that radio part or just whatever the small thing is.
It's more than that. It's more than the radio part, right? It's coming up with a strategy that makes sense. And also, like, again, I know how to play both sides of the field. It doesn't matter where my spawn is. I know how to play that side of the field. But maybe a new commander coming on or just a player, maybe they have a different idea about how to create a more dynamic situation or how to react to swings. That was one thing I will say about the event is that this was the most dynamic event that's been played on this field.
Yeah,
like teams like Brian was maneuvering. And then I would counter and then try to swing the other way. And then he would swing. And then eventually we were like reversed where like most of my team was in between his spawn and his team was in between my spawn, and then we'd fight back, and it was very kinetic and very mobile. Like everybody was moving and like jockeying for position based on what the current Frago was, and he did very well. Like he countered very, very well. To a point where it was just like, fuck, this guy, like he's actually doing a great job. Like I can't just like feint this and then do this. It was good.
Brian is a OG airsofter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
He's been around.
When I first met him, I caught on right away that he was like an OG airsofter.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he was like OG airsofter, played at old Zulu,
played here,
played with you guys a lot, OG airsofter. So.
He's been playing airsoft longer than I have.
He's in the same boat as Richie.
Yeah. He's like Richie's generation.
Like behind a Dunkin' Donuts, 20 minutes from your house in the woods. Like that's Brian too.
Tolman, I think they played up at Tolman a lot. Like, so he did fantastic. He understand the assignment. Like he literally told me, he's like, when he gave his brief to like his squad leader, his team, he like held up his radio and he's like, "This is my weapon today." And then as fate would have it, he said he like 1 hour into the game, his gun died. So what did he do? He sat his gun down and he fucking used his radio. Like he didn't walk off the field like, man, my gun fucking died. I need to go to the Antec. Like he fucking played the game. Like he has that mentality that I wish most players had, which was once the game starts, you're in it, right? So if your gun goes down, pull your pistol. You know what I mean? Or be a forward observer. You know, like there's no reason to go back and like, oh, my tummy, I need a Snickers bar. Like whatever the fuck, bring it with you. You know, he has that mentality.
Yeah. Because I tried to bust his balls around 5 o'clock ish. It was the first time I saw him all day. Like since the game had started, I didn't see him until 5.
Yeah.
And I walked over with the camera. I was like, there you are. I haven't seen you all day. I was starting to think you went home. And he just looks at me. He's like, no, I've been in my CP all day. I was like, well, I was just trying to get cool photos of you. He's like, yeah, you could have came over to the CP. And I was like, why would I do that? It's nowhere near the action. He goes, because you'd see the pile of objectives I have sitting in my spawn. And I'm like, all right, that's a fair point.
No, they did. We actually ended up, we didn't complete, actually, we never completed it. So our first objective was to get the flight recorder out of the helicopter, right? And like late in the day, we managed to just push a couple guys out of African Village and get to the helicopter. I was like, grab the fucking flight recorder. So we grabbed it and I was like, take this and take it back, right? So then, because at that point I'm still doing Civil War style communications, I'm like, okay, this one's done, send it back. Now I need to go to the other flank and fucking see what's going on there. And then like an hour or two later, I was back at our respawn. I was like, where's that fucking flight recorder? And somebody was like, oh, they got shot, and then Green took it. And I was like, are you fucking serious? God damn it, man.
Yeah, I saw it in Green Team spawn on Sunday.
Like, we had so much white space behind us. Like, where did you get lost? Like, what the fuck, man? They must have had a squad out there. I was like, fuck, dude. I think we completed, Tan Team, I think we completed one object. Oh, two. Well, technically two. So we completed one. We got all the ammo cases out of CQB. And then we also diffused the bomb that they planted at Mosque. And it was kind of funny because they came up, fucking radios were working. This was during our moment of brilliance, right? Radios were working great. And then I get over comms like, hey, we got a bomb. It's counting down. There's 3 minutes left. And it beeps, you know. And I was like, okay, the disarm code, I couldn't remember how many digits it was. I was like, the disarm code is 654321, right? And so he puts it in and he's like, it's not working. I think it's busted. And I was like, wait, it's not busted. I was like, when you press the first number, does it just register 0? And he's like, yes. I was like, okay, we're putting in the wrong code. I said, so try 7654321. And he's like, it's not working. And I was like, try 8765432, because I know the codes to it, because, you know, and he was like, okay, yeah, that's it. Fucking diffused. I was like, "Ooh, man!" There was like a minute and 30 seconds left on the bomb. So we only completed those two.
That sounds fun though.
No, it was cool. It was a very stressful moment because I know how it works, but they don't. So they're just like sweating bullets as this thing's slowly counting down, and they got it.
The code doesn't work. Fuck. Open it up. You have to cut the green wire. They're all green. No, they're not. I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
I will say
this wire's multicam.
It was kind of funny. Last Monday after we recorded the podcast episode, we went and started setting up the props.
Yeah.
And we started putting diamonds out.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one of us put the pile of diamonds on the rocks in the center of New CQB.
I did that. Yeah.
Do you know what time someone finally saw that?
No.
2:00.
Oh, nice.
Legitimately, the PAA dudes were walking through CQB. And mind you, I also put a diamond on the fucking dash right in front of the steering wheel of every single Jeep in CQB. They never noticed those.
Nice.
But
Wow,
it was like
nobody,
Mitch and
nobody checked cars.
yeah, it was like Mitch and Gerard were walking by,
They're probably
and
just
they
being
look.
they're probably just being really respectful of like the property.
No,
that's fine.
no.
Like, I'm not gonna go
get
in the
there.
cars.
They just look and they see the pile of diamonds on the rocks and they go, "What the fuck? How long have those been there?" And they see me standing there with the camera. They're like, "Jordan, did you just put those there?" I was like, "We put those there on Monday."
Yeah.
And they just start laughing. And my response to that is no, because I have a photo of Mitch walking over to the truck, like opening the door, looking inside, posing for a photo, closes the door. I walk back over and you just see the diamond sitting right on top of the steering wheel. I was like, blind.
I'll be having that.
Yeah.
But no, the game was really good. And it's just players walking off the field. And for whatever reason, I mean,
The team that stays on the field is the team that's
that stays on the field is going to win. And
Milsim days need to happen.
yeah, they're going to. We've got shit on paper right now. We're going into our summer season. They're going to happen. We also need to start doing Friday night.
Are Milsim days really going to start with just like normal open play walk-ons?
Yeah.
That was the intent. It's not supposed to be like a one op a month thing. It's supposed to be
It's like Milsim Light. It's like introduction to fucking Milsim.
Yeah. So then,
open play first half of the day.
And then on
once
the
we come
second
back from-
half, it's-
once we come back from lunch, it is game on and it doesn't end until we close.
Yeah.
But like this is something that we've talked about already a couple times. Like you can do different ones each day. So kind of what Dylan and I did already, we both have a Google Docs where we just start throwing objective ideas down of like, hey, you can do this. We can have one day where it's a push game for 4 hours. You can have one where for 4 hours it's conquest with objectives. There's so many rooms or so much room for like playing around with objectives. You could do a different one every month.
Yeah.
so when that Milsim part starts for the day, is it going to be like there's a CP? People will be bringing like ammo up and
I mean,
They should.
Yeah,
they
because
should.
The idea is you don't walk off.
Because again,
Yeah.
if you stay on the field, your team's going to win. But it's still not so complex like an event like Blood Diamond or Crossroads. It's still red and blue armbands.
Yeah.
But this is much like something we were talking about, Brian and I on Sunday. Let's say he found a group of dudes on Green Team where he's like, I like these dudes. I want to work with them all the time. If he's going to be CO for, let's hypothetically say Crossroads, he can communicate with a bunch of those dudes from Blood Diamond and say, hey, come out on Milsim Day. Let's all be on red team that day, or let's all be on blue team that day. But we'll show up and tell the refs, hey, look, we have a group of 30. And now they can play and practice together on a Milsim Day for an event like Crossroads.
And that's where I see a lot of use in the Zulu Discord. That's
Sure,
where
potentially, yeah.
That's where I see like it can start really being utilized for games.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
and
just
that's what
make
we want. We want a community where we want to build tough people. People that can stay out on a field for fucking
12 hours.
yeah, whatever, right? Like I did over almost 11 and 3/4 miles on fucking Saturday. Like I'm 41 years old. My knees are fucking killing me today, but I can do it. I didn't eat anything. I brought a gallon of water up there, and that's what I went. I didn't eat until I came down for the raffle.
Which I have a prime photo of you eating an empanada because Michael Watt requested that.
4 empanada. I got 4.
Well, he walks over and he sees me with the camera. He's like, I need a good photo of Dave, like just taking a bite out of an empanada.
Oh, got it.
Yep, got it.
Hell yeah. Like my fitness tracker or whatever, those things aren't very accurate, but I burned 5,000 calories that day. So
I believe that.
I was justified in eating 4 empanadas, but yeah, dude, just to cultivate a community of like hard chargers, dude, like mentally and physically strong people that can go out, because the games will only get better because imagine a world where everybody on the team, on both teams, was out there fighting the entire day. Like imagine how much like
That event would be
more
dope.
grand the battles would be, how much more dynamic the battles would be. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think a big factor too is people don't pace themselves.
Yeah.
Right off the rip, they're just sprinting around everywhere, and you're like, brother, we got a long day ahead of us. Like,
Yeah,
it's okay to patrol to contact. You don't need to sprint to contact.
Yeah, you got to save your energy for short bursts of explosiveness when
Yeah.
it's needed.
Well, when
Because the moment you have to charge up the hill to mosque from CQB, that's when you need that vigor.
Yeah. And then you also need to understand that like a lull or a down period is a good thing, not a bad thing, not a bad thing. And you don't need to be in contact for 8 hours straight. Like you can't be in contact for 8 hours straight. You can't carry enough ammo to do that. So it's okay during an event if there's like even an hour where you're fixed in a position, just denying the enemy the ability to get there. And maybe that's the time you reach into your pocket and pull out your fucking,
protein bar.
Yeah, whatever the fuck, or sit and joke or whatever. Because also that could lead to some dynamic situations where you're catching squads off guard, right? They've been static for 30 minutes and they're getting a little complacent. And maybe you look and like, now's the time.
Sometimes you have to be the squad that's just watching like the back trail when there's nothing happening there, just because there's gonna be eventually somebody that tries to flank through that trail, and now you're already there waiting for them.
Yeah, sure.
And when you get those guys out after waiting there, it's so satisfying.
Sure.
And then you get to communicate that, all right, back trail is secure. Some people try to flank. We got them. Cool.
You did your job.
It's always like there's noise happening here. Everybody runs there. And then there's an open pocket. And then it's like now everybody's running back. And then.
Yeah. And then that creates tired people. And tired people go down to the staging area because their tum-tums need some empanadas.
Explosive bursts. Like I played Sunday, and this was the first time I played new CQB in a full field game.
Oh, it's so good.
And it plays so differently when it's a thing that you're passing through.
Yeah.
And like the game started, it was Conquest, and we went through there. We cleared all the CQB. We thought there'd be a bunch of them.
Yeah, we made it all the way from the far side to the fortress without seeing another player from the other team.
Yeah, and we heard over the radio like red team's going, and we're like, okay, I guess they probably charged because they were top of trail, so we were like, they sprinted down to CQB. We're going to have to clear it out. Let's go. And we made it all the way to the end and there was nothing. So then we're like, all right, are we going to sit here all day or are we going to? Yeah. So then we had to charge up the hill. You were on top of the overpass. You were throwing just like random tag-ins.
It was for immersion. It wasn't for.
And then, it was also like I turned around and I'm like, oh, they're in Fuel Depot. How'd they get behind us?
Yeah.
You threw a smoke randomly, and I was like, all right, this is our opportunity. So I ran up, grabbed that smoke you threw, and I threw it like 20 feet forward, and then we moved up, and then I grabbed the smoke again, threw it another 20 feet forward until we ran out of smoke, and then we're like, all right, now we got to go in. So we ran into the buildings in the Moss compound, all those new one stories, and by the time you get there, after like sprinting, proning, getting up on the hill, shooting a bunch of ammo, you don't know how much you have left in your mag. So now you get to the building, you're doing a tac reload just in case, and you're kind of tired, especially with the boss unit.
Yeah.
And you don't have the same energy by the time you get up there and you actually have to start shooting, at like closer targets. That's when you need that energy. But now your stamina is kind of cooked because you had to get up the hill first.
Yeah.
So like you need moments of rest for those longer games, so that when you do need to do explosive stuff, you can run up the hill and keep your gun up and not just immediately die because you're tired.
Yeah. And it's kind of a trope or a fear, when you pay a little bit more for an event and you feel like you're just standing around, right? Mm-hmm. And for a longer style event, that's just part of it. That's just part of it. And like for Ian and Max's, they did a 40-hour at
EMR.
No, it wasn't EMR. It was the other one. Skirmish. And there were periods where like for an hour, like, okay, we're just watching this sector. And I'm okay with it. But I could tell some people were just like, man, what the fuck? Like, we're not doing anything.
It's that downtime where you play cornhole with the boys.
Sure. Well, I was just like,
bring some portable cornhole with you.
Well, no, in this particular case, like we were literally just watching like this sector or whatever. And I'm okay with it. I understand that it's all part of a larger thing. And I also understand that you can't fucking shoot BBs for 40 hours straight. You just can't. But some of the people were just like, oh, what the fuck? We paid whatever the fuck and we're just sitting around. I was like, brother, do you not remember the last fucking 3 hours where we fought our asses up to get here? Like, fuck, man. Like, you cannot sit there and just shoot BBs for fucking 40 hours straight. You just can't. Well, same thing here. I mean, you can't just sit here and shoot BBs for 12 hours straight.
I almost wonder if maybe that's my problem. So everybody knows I love MSW, and I'm not going to sit here and complain or do anything about that. But like, I played one of Max and Ian's games here. I've played AMS here. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time since I played Crossroads, and I've never played Blood Diamond. But One of my
never played Blood Diamond?
I have never played Blood Diamond. I've only ever worked it. I said that this year a bunch too because like I kind of do want to play it one time, but I always have to do media. With Max and Ian's game and AMS here, I always come off the field going like, I didn't really enjoy it. But then I also really love MSW games, and I think it's because my brain just doesn't compute. Like when we play Full Field Conquest, it's an hour. I come off the field going, oh, I shot like 15, 20 gas gun mags. We play, down pilot, push games, always a great time. Those AMS games and those Grimnir games are taking the same field that we're used to going for an hour at a time, or maybe an hour and a half, and being like, no, you need to turn it down and kind of like marathon it, not sprint it. And I always come off the field going, I don't know why people like doing this. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. I'm walking into those games with a different mindset of like, oh, it's just, I'm going to be on the field for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at most. Like I can go balls to walls the entire time. And then it's a slower pace. And I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah. It's got to be.
It might just be a me thing. So who knows?
Sounds like a you thing.
It is. But yeah.
I think we want to justify our entry cost, right? As players, we want to justify why we spent, in some cases $250, to go do these things. And the only like tangible way to justify playing Airsoft is by playing Airsoft. In our monkey brains, playing Airsoft is pulling the trigger. And so if we're not pulling the trigger, then I'm not getting the $250 worth. But in actuality, you are, because you're not paying $250 to just shoot BBs. You can do that in your backyard.
Yeah, you're paying for the experience.
You're paying for the experience. And part of that experience is rest. You need fucking rest.
That's why I'm saying maybe my brain's just not computing those two together, because like we can go to an MSW game where we do only shoot 500 BBs and I come back and that was well worth the $250. I had a fantastic experience. But then as soon as something like that starts to happen at Zulu where the game slows down and it's not as fast paced, I'm just like, okay.
Well, I think what's different with Milsim West is just the sheer amount of walking.
There's a lot of walking.
There's just a sheer amount of movement in a large area.
Yeah.
The woods ball stuff. So where like you need the downtime.
Yeah.
And
you need it. You need it here too.
Yeah, you do. You do.
I think what would help,
but it's no Balcar Ridge.
No, not even.
Balcar Ridge is like, is everybody alive? You get to the top, you look back, you're like, okay, did we lose anyone?
Well, the funny thing is Balcar has moved AOs, so the Balcar you're thinking of is a different Balcar than what he's talking about. Both of them equally as fucked.
Yeah. I think in some magic world where we can get that other 80 acres, that would slow down everything. And that would be more of like what you're thinking about.
Well, I think that
because it would take so long for you to just get on objective that you're going to value your life a lot more
and your time.
So you're going to slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
And because that walk back to respawn is going to be a fucking doozy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I also think the next time we have an outside event producer that's running a force on force game, not the Gun Gamers game in July. Next time there is an event like that where I do have an opportunity to play, I'm going to and try to walk into it with that mindset because I'd like to experience that.
You should set goals for yourself, right? Like, so do a loadout and say this loadout needs to last me until fucking 2:00 or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? So then at the very least, you'll mentally slow down.
Yeah.
Or you'll go balls to the wall and be out of ammo by 10 a.m. and be like, fuck.
Well, because like the last time AMS was here, like I love their games and they're great people. But when they did the game here, I was like, you know what? Saturday afternoon, I'm gonna go out and play. After about 2 hours, I was like, I don't get this one. Like I wasn't having a good time. I'm like, but looking back on it and correcting it now, I think it was because I was trying to go too hard, too fast. And that was supposed to be a slower game.
That's a 2-day thing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a 2-day.
Are the Milsim light days going to go into the night?
No.
I think they should.
Everybody thinks that they should, but think about
make the Milsim light days more than the events. It would be very fun to maybe
what's the
write
point?
that.
And also keep in mind too that people coming to these are not you. Like they could be rentals. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to.
Well, they don't have to stay until the night.
You're right.
Yeah.
But also staff has to. It's just a lot. It's fucking a lot.
Like, let's get it going once and see how it runs, and then we can jump off of that. Like, would it be cool to eventually say, hey, let's do a Milsim day where maybe it does go until the sun goes down?
Or we do Milsim nights.
Correct. That was going to be the other side of it. It's like, hey, maybe then we write a version of this where we're going to have a night game, but it's going to be a milsim night game.
So it's just one long game.
Yeah, so maybe it starts at, because like I'm thinking back to
Starts at
the Lion Claws game that we played here a long time ago, where it starts at 6, but it doesn't end till 11.
Yeah.
And it was just when we were doing those first initial objectives at the mosque where we were tasting colors and seeing sounds, the sun was up.
Yeah.
But then that kept going until 11 p.m. So you get the opportunity to play as the sun goes down and use your night vision and whatnot. And now there's a bunch of fucking lights on the field. So that could be really cool too. But that would also be another night where instead of having 2 staff members, you might need 4, because now there's going to be more objectives in play and you need a little bit more communication, which then means
that's more overhead for me.
that's more overhead for you. That also means that it's more work, and sometimes getting 4 staff members for a night game can be pretty difficult.
Yeah. I won't get into that.
No.
But yeah, these are all good things. And I think, where were we at, June?
Yeah, it's going to be June this weekend. DMR rules go into effect now.
That's right.
Summer
DMR,
hours.
Yep. Summer hours, DMR rules. I think we should do a Milsim Day in June.
Yeah, because we were talking about that because I brought it up earlier in May, and you're like, once we get past Blood Diamond, we can talk about this.
Yeah, my brain was 7 different.
And it works now because we don't have another event on the schedule until July. Because July we have the flea market and gun gamers.
July, yep. And then August is clean. September we have something potentially.
Did you guys get tickets yet for Gun Gamers? Did you get your tickets yet?
No, I have to buy mine.
Yeah, we need to because we keep saying we need to assemble a gang.
I thought something potentially in November, not September.
If you assemble a gang for Gun Gamers event, do we all have to buy the tickets
September,
at the same
October,
time?
November.
Jordan, do we have to buy tickets at the same time if we do it as a gang?
No, because you fill out some paperwork.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we've talked about this a few times. We keep harping on the Gun Gamers game. It's gonna be fun. But
it's gonna be awesome.
The thing that held me up was like, you need to come up with a character name in game, and you need to pick a ethnicity in game. So I had to sit there and read through the Gun Gamers lore and find out. And then there were the dudes in the comments section that were helping with your lore.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of businesses now that want to work with Dave and make him the outed mayor.
Hell yeah.
What are you taking a photo of that for? My dude. Ooh. Ghetto screenshots.
Ghetto screenshots.
You take a photo of your friend's phone.
Yeah.
Ghetto screenshots.
Nice.
Yeah, so June and August are open for events. We could do a Milsim Day and during those. And I mean, to be fair, the Gun Gamers event is not the kind of Milsim Day that we're talking about. You could do one in July too.
Yeah, no, I want to. I want to get to a point where when we are during summer hours, we do one once a month.
Yeah.
And then maybe when we switch back, see the problem with the Friday night. Oh no, Friday nights, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we can do the Friday nights. We can do the Friday nights probably year round.
Can we take a break?
We can take
we're at an hour and 11 minutes.
break. Let's take a break. Okay, so anyway, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Got to cut out that 5 minutes.
That's all right. One thing I will say about Blood Diamond is there was like some weird issues. Some things I've never seen before. Like there was an inordinate amount of people shooting with their dead regs on their heads.
Yeah, that happened like 12 times.
I've never seen that happen
Yeah.
before. But it was like, and they just didn't know, right? Like I don't know if they just play at fields that don't use dead regs or whatever, but they would just stand up with their dead reg on and start shooting. And I yelled at like 3 people, not yelled at them, but it was just like, hey, your dead reg's on your head. Hey,
Yeah.
It happened so many times. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
There was a point where we were standing there talking about it, looked over, and it happened again.
Yeah,
And we're just
yeah.
like, take your dead rag off. And he's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
And goes
it's
back
like,
to playing.
what the fuck? I think people are just like, they want to get back into the fight, so they're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, and maybe they play at a place that doesn't enforce those rules or whatever the fuck, so they don't have that muscle memory, which is why I went over it during the safety brief. When you get hit, call your hit, lay down, pull your dead rig out. When you get medicked,
I want to talk
take
about
your
that.
dead rag off, put it back in your pocket. Only at that point are you back in the game. As soon as your dead rag goes away, boom.
I do want to talk about that because we are very transparent, and we always say that we're our biggest critics.
Yeah.
Lay down and die was in the safety briefing, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was also in the rules that nobody read.
Okay. Yeah, because I had a few instances where some players, maybe they were salty, maybe they didn't read the rules, maybe it was a mixture of both. So like prime example, dude gets shot in the back point blank. First, immediately he takes 3 shots to the back and he's like, I just got full auto. I'm like,
Oh, he's one of those. I got
buddy.
full auto to the
yeah.
face.
And I'm sitting there watching and I'm like, you didn't get full autoed. And I was like, that was semi. but I'll also go check and see if he has a green tag on his gun. Around the corner, I was like, he has a green tag. And the guy gets mad and goes, he shouldn't be able to do that. I was like, what do you mean?
What?
And he's like, he didn't need to do that. This is bullshit. And I was like, homie, I don't know where you play normally, but if you have a green tag, you can shoot people point blank with no problem. And he goes, so you're telling me I could take this gun because he had a green tag. He's like, and shoot someone point blank. I was like, yes, that is within the rules. It fires under 350 feet per second with a 2.5. He's like, that's bullshit. It shouldn't be allowed. I'm just like, I don't know, man.
It shouldn't be allowed for it to happen to you? Is that what you're getting at?
And he's standing there with his dead rag on and he gets shot again. And I was like, hey, man, maybe take a knee. And he goes, well, if I take a knee, they're still going to shoot me. I was like, maybe lay down. And somebody looks over and goes, it was in the rules that you need to lay down and die. And I was like, then lay on the ground. Because if you're on the ground, the window you just got shot through can't see you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to just walk off. And I'm like, okay. Or you can come sit over in the corner with me because I'm also the camera guy who keeps getting fucking shot right now because we're inside the Moss compound.
Yeah.
He's like, just come sit in the corner by me. You're going to get shot, but you're going to get shot with me instead. And he just got super fucking salty and walked away. And I'm looking going, was it in the rules? Did it say lay down and die? Yeah. And I started asking people and they're like, yeah, absolutely. And I look around and everyone that's complaining about getting shot with their dead rag on is standing or taking a knee. And I'm like, lay down and fucking die. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
It's not, laying down is not so much like an immersion thing.
It's to get you out of the way.
It's getting you out of the fucking way.
Yeah.
And it's also a visual indicator, right? Like when people, for the most part, when people are shooting from the prone, they're on their stomachs.
Not on their back.
Correct. Right? So,
or on their side, or groaning and, bloody murder because
that's the equivalent of me building a gun for somebody. And they're like, what should I absolutely not do with this? And I'm like, well, you definitely don't want to like fully submerge it in water. And then they like fully submerge it in water and then it breaks. And they're just like, what the fuck? This is fucking bullshit. It broke. And it's like, you need to fix this. I'm just like, you fully submerged it in water quite intentionally. Like,
yes, I do have another in the same boat that I would love to talk about.
That's never happened, thank God. But like that's what that seems like to me. It's like you're at this event. There's the rules, man. Some people
they're creating their own tragedy.
Some people do this thing like when they're upset and they want to argue about it, and then they realize that the argument's invalid, or actually maybe they shouldn't really be that upset about it. They just want to keep being upset, so they find other things to try.
People aren't mad unless they're complaining, or people aren't happy unless they're complaining.
They want to like stay upset. Like once the spark happens and they feel like they have some reason to be upset, they want to maintain that upsetness, even if it was like a false alarm.
That's just low T behavior. That's all it is.
The other one that I would love to address, and actually this could totally be a normie segment, but I want to talk about it because I feel like it needs to be talked about.
Like you can make them laugh. You can make them laugh. Shut up. They'll be mad. You'll make them laugh. They'll do this. They're like.
I know he took his meds. I know he took.
I'm sorry, but like
Well, no, because you're going to also go off on a tangent about this.
But you know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about, and they're the same people that do what I'm about to bring up.
Yeah.
And full transparency, this is not shit talking AMS, but I know it started at AMS. Medic, yes. Medic,
no. That is. I didn't even hear it.
Oh, I heard it like 20 times. And every time I looked at a player that did it, I was like, don't fucking do that. And
you're not allowed to communicate.
And he's like, what? I'm just saying medic, yes, medic, no. I'm like, you can say medic, you can say hit, you can say I'm dead. You are not allowed to communicate with another player. Saying medic, yes, medic, no is just removing the words of I can be medicked or I can't be medicked, or saying don't come get me or do come get me.
No, it's this. There's a fucking enemy looking at me, or there's an enemy around. Don't come get me. Like that's what they're saying.
A bunch.
That's silly, stupid shit. And I corrected it once at Crossroads. Some guy was saying it, and I was like, "Yo, don't fucking say that." And he looked at me like I had a purple dick growing out of my forehead.
Yeah. I was like, well, so that was one of the instances on Saturday.
Dude, you're basically telling your team the enemy's position.
Yeah, I looked at a player as
That's some fucking super low T shit.
I was walking.
Oh my God.
I was walking through CQB, and a TAM player was like, medic, no, medic, no. And I looked, no, don't do that. And he looks at me, he's like, what? And I was like, there
is a place within our locality that I don't know about. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's within driving distance of here that allows that shit for sure.
Yes.
It's super low T shit. When you're fucking dead, you say medic, and that's it. You don't say medic. Oh, wait, no, there's bad guys over here. Like, that's the same thing. That's the fucking same thing, dude.
This player looked at me and goes, when we're at American Milsim, we're allowed to do it. And I looked and I said,
this ain't it.
We're at Zulu 24 Airsoft, man. So, like, it's not shit talking AMS. It's just the fact that behavior.
That's not even true. When we went to Arsenal, you couldn't. It was Bo made it very, very clear in the game brief, the safety brief, it's medic.
Yeah.
You just say medic.
Yeah, it's not even allowed there.
Even at Arsenal, I've told the story here before, but at Arsenal, like I was just yelling medic, and some other guy.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah, some guy on the other team walked like over me as I'm yelling medic. He schwacked me. Good on him. Good shot, right? But as I'm yelling medic, I'm saying medic. Like I'm just yelling medic. There's no code word. I'm not going like medic. Like I'm not doing hand gestures. I'm not turning my back or anything. I'm just yelling medic. Like, so come and get me. I trust my teammates when they hear me yelling medic that they'll run in the woods and they'll figure out what the situation is and take care of it. But he passes by me and is like, I know that secret code. You can't fool me with that. I'm like,
you're right.
You mean the code where when you're hit, you're only allowed to say medic?
Yeah, that one.
This is what I do. I'm a happy airsofter. Seriously. I don't get salty when I play. I have a good time. I particularly have fun when I'm dead. Do you know why? When I get shot, I go, ah! And I immediately lay down because it's quicker to just lay down and be dead in a non-combative while you get your dead rag than it is to stand there, then get your dead rag out, and then try to fall down and take a knee. I immediately drop, and then I start bleeding out of whatever pocket I have my dead rag out of. If I got shot in the head, I'm bleeding out of my cargo pocket, okay? I'm just like, ah! And I'm letting my long chain of dead rags come out, and then I start wrapping it around my body as I'm on the floor, like twitching, and I only yell medic or ah, and if it's really hairy and I don't want to risk my teammates getting killed, guess what I'm also allowed to do? I'm allowed to just shut the fuck up and sit there quietly and bleed out and die. I'm allowed to do that. And that's not a secret code word. That's literally just following the rules. And I have a grand old time.
But this is a symptom. This is a symptom of another problem just in airsoft in general. And this happened on Sunday. It was fantastic. I caught him. Airsofters make up fucking rules.
Yeah.
They just make up fucking dude. So Sunday, great day. Sunday was a fantastic day. It was open play, whatever.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a great day. I was walking up on the field just because it was a game in CQB and I always want to see how it's running, see how we can change it, right? So walking up on the field and I can hear behind me some players walking up on the field. And then one of the players, I haven't even looked yet. He's just like, oh, dude, you need armbands. And this player goes, oh, just give me one of yours. It's totally allowed to only have one armband.
No, it's fucking not.
And I turned around and I was like, did you just make up a fucking rule? I was like, go back and get armbands. You need two. Like players do that. And then if enough players do that, then the community starts to believe it. It's the same thing with tags and their legality in New York.
It's the same thing with dudes that wear ghillie suits and fucking leaf tops thinking the armbands can go on their fucking ankles.
Yeah. Same thing, right?
It's called an armband, not an ankle band. It's not your ankle monitor. It's your armband.
It's not the shoulder strap on your plate carrier band either.
No, because everybody's trained to look at the arms now, and that's intentional. And
Ukraine.
So it's just like these players.
Ukraine got it right, okay? In an active war zone, they got armbands right under all the stress and mortar fire and drones. They can wear their armbands on their arms.
And their helmets.
But yeah, we don't need to go that far. But I'm just saying there's like this systemic problem with these low-T fucking people that they'll literally just make up rules and medic yes, medic no is one of them.
Yeah, they'll just will it into existence.
Well, I didn't tell him where you were at. Fuck you.
No.
You're communicating. If we want to go the real world route, you are a pile of meat on the ground.
Yeah. Lay down and die.
Yeah.
And don't say medic yes, medic no. Just say medic or buddy aid because there was a buddy aid in the medic system. Fucking stop doing that shit. That drove me insane.
It's one of those things that just like when dead people can talk, like you can like limiting them to medic is a nice thing, right? It's a very courteous thing to give to the player to say you can call for medic. But like even Grimnir changed their rule because
that was one of my biggest gripes with Grimnir in the beginning.
It used to be a rule where people bleeding out were allowed to talk and be like, he's over there. And then, that changed.
And I've actually played not a Grimnir game, but many, many years before.
It's something that doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It breaks the meta.
Well, it doesn't work for like two reasons, right? So I played it was here actually when this was HVA many, many years ago. And it might have just been an open play game, whatever it was, where, when you got shot, when you were in your down state, you could still communicate.
Yeah.
And it was totally allowed. But if you got shot again, then you're like, they double tapped you, you're dead. So it led to two things. Really gay situations where somebody was down and they were just like, no, they're right here, they're right here, they're right here, they're here. And then the other situation it led to is that people just started shooting the fuck out of everybody who was down on the ground.
Yep.
Like, so regardless of whether you were double tapped or communicating or not, everybody got fucking quadruple tapped.
The very first Grimnir game that they ran here, and I talked with Ian about this specifically because I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's the one thing I fucking hate in your rules, because it used to be socially acceptable that if you were down and you were in your down state, you were waiting for a buddy aid, not a medic, you could fucking talk. And the first thing that happened, my legitimate first experience with Grimnir, is being on the back trail behind mosque, waiting for 20 minutes, getting a dude finally walk up on me, fucking smoke him, wearing my leaf suit, thought I was the coolest dude on the field. And he just goes, oh, he's right here in front of me. I was like, what the
That
fuck?
probably blew your fucking mind.
Blew my mind, blew my spot.
Yeah.
So then I go, well, fuck this dude. And I shoot him again. And he starts screaming at me. He's like, you can't shoot me. I'm already dead. I was like, then shut your fucking mouth. And he's like, I'm allowed to speak. And I'm looking going, I'm going to have an aneurysm.
Yeah, like what?
If you're going to open your mouth while you're dead, you're going to get shot again. And it should be as simple as that. If you don't want to get shot again, don't open your fucking mouth. And that's what I said to him in a much more polite tone. But he goes, well, that's not in the rules. You can't shoot already down players. I'm like, then don't open your fucking mouth because I'm going to shoot you anyway.
And there's the realism argument where, like, if it were real life and I got shot in the arm by a sniper, I can still yell
and you would
be
get
like,
executed by my second shot to your face because now you're on the ground writhing around in pain.
But then here's the overarching thing. Airsoft is as far from reality as T-ball is from Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Right. The realistic immersions that get added to game rules, it only gets added if it adds to the fun of the experience. Like tourniquets. Tourniquets is a lot. Getting tourniqueted is a lot more fun than being buddy-aided.
It's also a visual
Just
indicator.
a good analog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Good
also
analog.
a good visual indicator to who's already been medicked, especially for open play, because then like you can't really cheese, oh, I haven't been buddy-aided, man.
Yeah.
As they're getting buddy-aided for a third time. Dude's got a tourniquet on. He can't be buddy-aided. He's down. Leave him. And that was one of the conversations I had with Ian after that game. I was like, look, if you're going to allow people to talk while they're dead, they should also get shot if they're talking while they're dead. He goes, it actually used to be like that. And then people were complaining that they were being overshot while they were dead. And I was like, yeah. So simple thing. Don't open your mouth. You won't get shot again. And he's like, you're right. But airsofters. I was like, then remove the rule.
Yeah. Yeah. I had lived that truth already. And so I already knew what was going to happen with that.
Shout out to the airsofters that don't make up rules.
Because even me, after I got
shout
shot
out to the
during
airsofters that actually enjoy the immersion and stick with it.
after I got shot during the Grimnir game, ironically enough, the same dude I had double tapped while he was dead was like, you're gonna tell your friends where we are? I was like, no, because I don't want to get shot in the face while I'm dead, so I'm just gonna sit here quietly. And he just kind of looked and realized I had won this verbal altercation, and he just
I got you.
walks away.
And then as soon as he walks away, I'd be like, the right fucking hand.
Because who am I to sit here and preach that you shouldn't talk while you're dead? And it's a stupid rule. If I'm gonna sit here and talk while I'm dead, it's a stupid fucking rule.
Yeah. But the kid just made up a fucking rule on the spot, like literally right behind me. And I was just like, yeah, that's not how that works. And it's probably based out of laziness or whatever. But
for Blood Diamond, it was medic yes, medic no. People not laying down while they were fucking dead.
and then complaining that they're getting shot.
Complaining that they're getting shot.
Beautiful.
Not understanding the chrono rules. Those are like the big three that I saw.
Yeah, it was weird. It was absolutely a different crowd. Because for Crossroads last year,
there was like no issues.
dude, I was like, holy shit, we finally done it. We've cultivated the community and like both teams stayed on the field for that one. Like that Crossroads last year was fucking dynamic as fuck. And it was like very kinetic. It was very kinetic.
Crossroads last year, is that where we made all the videos?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was
about
like,
what you do when you're dead.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
You're right.
Maybe he's got to,
Because I was gonna reshare those for Blood Diamond. And I was like, there were different camo rules because there was a lot of bullshit questions.
Well,
about
the one your hit thing is.
This is laying on the ground with your dead rag out. This is not. This is laying on the ground with your dead rag out. This is not. So when you get shot, lay down and take your fucking dead rag out.
So for Crossroads again this year, I want to do those videos again, but we're just gonna fucking hammer it home. Like I'm gonna do like every trope. Like we're just gonna have Anthony just complaining like, me, I'm getting shit. Like
I will
that shit.
be the guy in that video. I will
just go hard with it because because people don't understand how
I will
stupid they
make
fucking
up
look.
all the rules.
People don't understand how stupid they fucking look. Like arguing that the sky is green. You know what I mean? Like they look so fucking stupid when they're standing there complaining about getting hit when all they have to do is follow the fucking rules. But because they're lazy, old, fat, whatever the fuck, they don't want to lay down.
Yeah,
Like,
and it also
drives me insane, dude.
and if there was a real chaos gremlin,
Those are like
that was-
flat earthers, dude.
if there was a chaos gremlin in the game that is legitimately on his villain arc and looking for dead players to overshoot because he's sadistic, you standing in the open, not following the rules, complaining about it is just another complaint in the ocean of droplets of complaints.
Yeah.
Where if there is actually an instance of it happening, like the little boy who cried wolf, you know, like just save it. It's like calling real world because like
You got shot with a BB.
some sweat dripped in your eye under your eye pro and it stings a little bit and you're like, oh, I'm blind. Like that's not a real world at all. You know? So if there is a real world, like just leave those things for the actual issues so that it can actually be taken care of.
I would love to see a world where we implement the lay down and die into open play because I feel like that would culture everyone for events too.
Remember,
I do it-
open play is for everyone, right? So,
but we're already at the point where it's like when you get hit, take a knee and pull your dead rag out.
Yep.
It's just one extra step. When you get hit, lay down on the ground and take your dead rag out.
yeah.
It's going to stop all the bullshit.
It's so much fun. Like dying becomes fun when
I'm not
you
saying
act
act
it
out
out.
your death. I did act out my death so hard on Sunday
I-
that like my helmet flopped off with my ear pro too.
I always act out my
Your
death.
chin strap buckled.
The only time I don't act out my death, right, is if it's a touch and go game and I get shot like immediately as I walk out of my spawn, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to turn around now. But like if it's like an open field game and there's bleed outs or, you know,
That happened to
I
me.
will always act out the death. Like they feel so much better when they get the kill. And then I can be like, good shot, you know, and,
Yeah.
and like I'm like on the ground just like, blah. Also, you make a bunch of noise. If there are medic rules, draw attention. Draw attention to yourself so that your teammates can run in and
Is that
you know,
communicating? Is that communicating while you're dead?
No.
yelling
I'm
medic
fucking
and acting
around.
out your
I'm
death.
just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, dude. But it was just weird. I've never, honestly, it wasn't that bad.
No.
The laying down wasn't that bad. It was just a weird thing with the dead rate. I've never seen, we don't have that. We occasionally have that issue in open play,
Very rarely.
but like,
you know
but
what-
at an op, it's like the
You know what also kills the immersion for me? Like, and I saw this on Sunday.
fact
and
that you're shooting an airsoft gun.
no.
Yeah.
He's got a boss system. It's maximum immersion.
Yeah, might as well be, you know,
Might as well be a real 22. It kicks like one.
it kicks like a 22. Wow.
What, is this an airsoft?
Is this an airsoft?
Wow. This is like my real 22.
This thing real? Is this legal?
Wow. You can buy these?
No, you know what killed the immersion for me? And nobody was breaking any rules, right? But it did kind of just like feel like, meh. You know, on Sunday, we make it up to the mosque area. We're shooting people. I turn around the window. I see like Ronnie and some of our other teammates. They're alive. All is good. I'm like, cool. We're making movement. I turn back around, start shooting. And then I look out the window again and they're just like sitting there with their dead rag out. I didn't know they got hit. You know, it would have been cool if I heard them go like, "Glah!" You know, or if they were yelling medic or whatever. But
Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, that's a you problem.
That's a you problem.
well, it adds to the immersion. Like it adds to the immersion. And
So
nobody
be
was
the change you want to see.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. Like nobody was breaking any rule. Nobody did anything wrong. But like, you know that moment where like you turn over and your teammate's alive and then you go back to shooting bad guys and then 10 seconds later you turn back around and they're just like you know, you're just like, okay, I guess they're dead now. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a you thing.
it's just underwhelming. It's not exciting. And you
Sure.
know,
It's like shooting an airsoft shotgun.
yeah, there's less endorphins. Whereas like if I hear
That's a really good. Yeah.
if I hear Ronnie on the ground screaming like, I'm like, I must save Ronaldo, you know, it's like new mission acquired.
Yeah. The other weird thing that happened was we had a player who had an issue with some other players. And so he was like, let me show you the video
Oh, yeah.
of it. And so I was dead.
Oh, the criminals out themselves.
I was dead walking back up to my respawn and I see Jordan and I hear Jordan say like, let's pull up the video. So as soon as that happens, I'm like, oh, somebody thinks they caught something. And I'll be honest with you, every airsoft footage video I've ever seen has been the worst fucking quality and the completely most inconclusive shit. I know that there's conclusive shit out there, but here,
To be fair,
just never seen it.
his was okay. So like to set the backstory.
It was inconclusive because they didn't have a chance to add the hit markers yet.
Well,
Yeah.
So this player was, I was walking off the field because I needed to go switch camera batteries, and he was on the top of the hill right as you walk up the ramp, like going up to the top of the trail respawn. And he's like, "Hey, can you come over here? I want to ask you about something." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, I have a problem with a player. And I looked at him, I was like, full transparency, I'm not working today. I'm just doing media. So if this is going to be a big thing, I was like, I'll call a ref over that's working so they can handle this.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to know your opinion. He's like, there were two dudes. One of them had a dead rag out. One of them was like 10 feet behind him. They were talking. They were walking off the field. The dude that didn't have a dead rag out turned, shot me. And I was like, hey, dude, aren't you guys walking off the field? Aren't you dead? And he goes, do I have a fucking dead rag out? And I was like, he's got a point, but I understand what you're getting at. And he goes, yeah.
Sleazy? Yes.
Sleazy,
The
sleazy.
dead man walk?
He's doing the
They're-
dead man
they're
walk. I feel
pretending
like
to
we
be
just
dead.
talked about this. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And he goes, yeah. And I tell him like, hey, dude, if you're walking off the field dead, then you shouldn't be shooting me. Like I shouldn't have to take that. And then you see in his video when he pulls it up, the dude does turn his white light on, pointed directly at him, and he gets peppered in full auto. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And he like points out, like we could see him through the tree line off the ramp, what car he was at. And I was like, let me grab a ref. So I literally called Dylan, and I'm like, oh, he's all the way on the other side of the hill. I was like, Dylan, look 90 degrees to your right. I'm over here. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, I need you to come over and handle a player problem. And he's like, okay, I got you. He comes over as he's pulling up the video. And I thought Dylan grabbed you. I didn't know that you were already standing behind us hearing it. I was like, oh, Dylan grabbed Dave. This is great. Because I explained it to Dylan. And then all of a sudden you come over, which is when we watched the video.
So he starts his fucking video, right? And it's like before the incident even happened. So it's like 10 seconds before the incident takes place. This player is shooting, from my perspective, through a bush.
Yeah, so he was like in the tree line on the top of the hill coming out of your guys' respawn. He's shooting down into CQB.
Shooting down in CQB. So we're already talking good distance,
Like
right?
250-foot shot.
Right? He's shooting down, and then all of a sudden, he flips that shit to full auto and does a full auto burst. And then as he's playing the video for us, he's like, oh yeah, those guys weren't calling their hits. And I was just like, I don't care what happens. This isn't even the incident.
Yeah.
This isn't even the incident. I don't care what happens in your video after this because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, your credibility just got thrown out the window.
And so now, was that a reaction to what he did?
Yeah.
Was he the instigator the entire time?
So the funny thing there too is
So stupid.
when that happened in the video, my brain didn't even think anything of it because while we were waiting for Dylan to come over, we were having a conversation about, are you allowed to use a Crytek LMG with normal M4 mags?
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, he probably has a Crytek LMG. And I'm looking over at his gun going, wait a fucking second. As I hear you go, hold on, what was that? I was like, oh, everybody's wrong.
Yeah. Everybody was wrong. And he was just like, oh, they weren't calling hits. And that is the most infantile, low T fucking response to anything going bad on the field. I'm not kidding, dude. This is
never done that.
Dude, this is the reason. This is proof in the pudding.
We just talked about full auto retaliations too. We just talked about
this.
It's like on another episode.
It's literally the lowest bar. There is nothing low. Like I'm getting heated about it because it's like it's low T. It's so low T at my. You know what I mean? Like it is the fucking stupidest way you could ever handle a fucking situation that will never solve. You might.
Yeah.
You will never solve any airsoft problem by doing that ever.
Well, it's also,
and also it makes the rest of your video fucking void.
Yeah, because I'm standing there, I'm like,
because you are the problem. This is proof in the pudding. I was going to say, okay.
Yeah.
This is proof in the pudding as why Zulu will never and has never sponsored any players, regardless of their social media fucking status. We will never sponsor players because they're all capable of doing idiotic shit like that.
yeah.
Oh, it made me so mad I had to walk away, dude.
Yeah.
Let Dylan deal with it because I was like, this is so stupid. This is so fucking stupid.
Okay, so you may be right in your assessment of what you just showed us. But at the same time, you also like, no one's transgression is more or less. You're all wrong. And he's like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll go back to respawn. I was like, if this was open play, I'd be kicking you off the field until the next game. And that's when I looked at Dylan. I was like, you're the ref today. Handle it. Like,
yeah, it was. I was like, you just
know
null and voided.
If I was still,
anything after that.
if I was reffing, if I was still a ref,
dude, I don't even know how you handle that.
if I was still a ref and I was reffing and I saw that footage of him doing it, I would have kicked both of them off the field.
Well, so the other dudes were already off the field, but I looked at Dylan. I'm like, we should still go talk to those dudes in the parking lot because he is right. That is a transgression that needs to be identified, and we need to talk to those players and let them know, like, hey, that's fucked up. You can't do that again. Don't let us catch you doing that. But also, we have this player here that just physically showed us, like, the criminals out themselves.
Yeah.
He just shows us
Fucking
the evidence,
stupid.
which is also why in any airsoft instance of a problem, it's he said versus she said, but the video does tell the truth. And the video showed that everyone was wrong.
It literally could have been that his infantile, prepubescent, low T fucking action could have been the instigation
To that,
for
we
the
don't know
second one.
because
So the second one just could have been retaliation for it. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's wrong in this situation, but then to act like the jaded party and be like, oh, a transgression against me, and then show the video where you probably fucking started it. Oh, that makes me so mad.
yes,
dude.
and that's the thing. It's
I
like,
fucking hate that.
and that's I even said to him, I was like, now in good conscience, we can't go say to those players, hey, you need to leave for the day because you committed a crime. When are we going to tell you need to leave because you also just showed us a video of you committing a crime? Like,
I told them right when I saw it. I was
When
like,
I was
you're fucking-
reffing,
that's stupid. Like,
when I was reffing, if it looked like there was saltiness transpiring,
and mind you, this was like 11 o'clock in the morning. 12.
yeah,
It was like noonish.
it doesn't matter. But
yeah.
yeah,
when I was
it doesn't matter.
when I was still a ref, whenever I had to like respond to some type of saltiness happening, it was all I saw in my head was that exact situation transpiring. I saw every bit of saltiness as having this potential to escalate to that. And I was like, they need to be separated right now.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what they have to say because none of what they're arguing about right now is important enough. It's not even worth entertaining it right now. They just need space.
The saving grace is none of it went verbal. It was
Yeah.
just like, it was
Right.
it was a quick, like,
action.
Right.
yeah, it was a quick exchange of words of just like, oh, I don't have a dead rig out. Like, go hook yourself. Blah, 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 blah. And then those dudes walked off the field. I'm like,
Yeah. The moment there's
what just happened?
the moment
Yeah.
there's that saltiness and like nobody did anything that would break a rule to get them kicked off the field yet, but they're just really salty. They just have to be on opposite sides of the field immediately where they don't see each other.
Yeah.
You know, because
The best part is the reasoning for the guy who was showing us the video. The reasoning for him to do his little stupid infantile fucking prepubescent fucking ridiculous shit was because they weren't calling their hits.
right.
All of that.
Right.
All of that.
He was shooting through a bush, down a hill, into a fucking town with tons of cover. Oh, but they're not calling their hits. Shut the fuck up, dude. Grow a sack.
250 feet. You don't know that
Grow
for
a
sure.
fucking sack,
Because
dude.
at the same time, I will tell you, being on the receiving end of essentially that engagement range of somebody on the top of the hill shooting down into the new connexes. Bro, BBs bounce off of fucking everything. You can hear the BBs hitting the metal from there. Like, no, maybe you hit him. Maybe you did. Maybe there's two people in there. Maybe you hit one of them and he immediately got buddy.
You also legit
tourniquets.
You also legit have enough time to respond. Like you'll hear their gun and just do this because like the moment you hear it, you're like, oh, I'm getting shot. So you'll duck before the BB even makes it over to you. And then you see it whizzing past. Like that stuff happens.
I went over to a player
Like
on Saturday.
Airsoft is not where you're like, well, if the BB wasn't going this FPS and it was real, then it would have hit you and it should have
Then
hit
go
you. So
home and
you
play
should
Arma.
call it. That's not Airsoft. Airsoft, like that's where it's really gamified. That's where Airsoft is never going to be like a real world FTX because Airsoft BBs travel the way they do and you can dodge them sometimes. And it does not count unless the BB actually touches you.
Sure. And there's also 1,000 scenarios that could have happened.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, he was in my memory, which is a little fuzzy because I was like instantly pissed off as soon as I saw him do that. He was shooting through some foliage.
He was.
So any leaf, twig, branch, bug, whatever the fuck, high grass
Even
could
that.
deviate your fucking rounds, right?
So-
could.
Also trailing people if they're moving horizontally.
Sure.
You shoot, like I hear when I do hear people go the call your hit bullshit or the really bro is it just translates to call your hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no. When I hear really bro, it's usually when they're shooting a moving target going horizontally at a far distance with a bunch of trees and twigs, and it's just like you really truly didn't contact them with your BB.
Yeah, but I trained for that.
Most likely you really didn't hit them. Like,
I mean, prime example. So maybe an hour later, I'm in CQB all the way down on the far side, taking video and photos of players, and I see 2 tan dudes hop into one of the foxholes on the very top of the hill. And the dude that I'm taking a photo of is on the corner of a Connex. And I see them, and I see their gun come up, and they start shooting towards them, and all of their BBs just overhop right as they're coming in. And they're also going slow enough that I went, oh, shit, and like stepped out of the way. But they fired like 20 or 30 BBs. And then that dude on the corner went, oh, there's dudes there. And he fires 5 or 6, gets both of them.
Oh, fuck.
So
they were probably so mad.
So I just hear one of the dudes in the foxhole go, huh. And I knew immediately what that huh was.
Yeah.
So I walked over and I was like, hey guys, turn your hop ups down. And they're like, what? And I was like, all of those BBs you shot went straight over that kid, almost hit me. And that's why I like stepped out of the way, because they were coming in high and were like at eye level with me. He goes, oh, fuck, really? And I go, yeah, whatever you're shooting high. And he just kind of starts laughing. He goes, yeah, I really thought I hit that dude. I was like, everything you guys shot fucking missed. He goes, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
you ever watch kids just like play? You know, they're all playing together. They have toys. And then one kid is always like
by himself, by a tree with his hands behind his back, watching his brother play with some other kid.
No. One kid's always.
That sounds real specific.
There's always.
It happened yesterday.
There's always one kid.
Oh,
It broke my heart.
There's always one kid that's like, hey, I was playing with that toy, or hey, give it back, or hey, you hit me, right? There's always one kid that is like, and you gotta pull him aside and be like, hey, buddy, I know you got really big emotions right now that you don't know how to deal with. Like, that's just the same psychology happening, but with grown men playing airsoft sometimes.
that's why as soon as I heard from like 200 feet away, I heard the huh. I went, oh no, let me go talk over to that. Yeah, let me go talk to him.
And I will say this:
if you feel like you're upset, like it's probably just not your, like, just don't do it.
I don't know.
Change your socks.
You just got to, you just got to ascend, man. You just got to ascend, and
change your socks.
You have to realize
eat a Snickers, drink some water.
You have to realize how imperfect
Airsoft.
the sport that we play is. It's hella imperfect, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I also want to say that this incident caused no issues except for those 2 individuals. Like it didn't radiate out. The game itself was pretty good.
And that's the consequence of having good refs that respond to it.
Yeah.
And
well, that's the thing too. Like, we're talking about it openly on the podcast because, again, we are our biggest critics.
We have to be.
Yeah. So it's not like Richie last week where Richie's just like, yeah, it's fucking perfect here all the time. We're like, hold on, let's talk about some other stuff. It's not always perfect, but we have to understand why it's not so we can address it.
Yeah.
And we're also not outing the player.
No.
We're not putting anybody on blast. I mean, they know who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know who they are.
Anyway, you know what time it is, Anthony? It is Normie. I was actually going to do that like a fake one. I was going to bait you in early on. Just be like, you know what time it is? And then you'd be like, and I'd be like,
it's all
gotcha.
quiet.
Yeah, not yet. We have shit to talk.
Yeah.
But I do have the topic because Dave texted it to us Sunday at 4:00.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. And this was submitted by a player here at the field. Is it normie to do battle cries and have pregame motivational speeches?
Battle cries, no. Sometimes you really need a battle cry. Like you were just talking about, like they didn't push the embassy. Sometimes the fix for that is to have one guy be like, all right, let's do it. Like it's goofy, right? But that's the point. It's goofy. Like, we're going to charge to our deaths for whatever my team is, right?
Yeah.
Fucking 410 team. And because, you know.
So let me put it.
It's goofy. You see one guy's like, all right, he's having fun. He's going to run out and die. I'm going to run out and die with him. And usually that makes the best assaults for.
Like sometimes they work and you're like, oh shit.
They work. And then everybody that got hit, you just res them after because you successfully did your thing. And but the motivational speeches.
Well, hold on. So there's a version of the war cry or the battle cry that is normie. Okay. And I'm gonna put Mario on blast for this one because he used to do this all the time at different events. And this kind of requires a CQB environment.
Was it the chicken?
No, that was fantastic. It kind of requires a CQB environment. So Mario used to do this all the time. If there was a doorway or a hallway or something where this was going to be a tough nut to crack, right? He would always do this, and I would laugh and do it with him. He would count down. He would be like, let's go. Like he's hyping himself up. Let's go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We're all dead. Like
The longer the countdown, the cringier it is.
Yeah.
15, 14, 13.
30, 29, 28.
I used to tell him, I was like, Mario, all you're doing is telling the other team when to pull their trigger. Like they already know what door we're coming in.
Yeah. Are we breaching a doorway or waiting for the space shuttle to launch?
Yeah, dude. He would do it all the time. And it got to the point where I would just do it with him because I thought it was funny as fuck.
Well, you run on 2.
no, because
What if that's the trick? You run on 3.
it doesn't matter because trust me, you always got a lit up anyway.
On the count of 5, we're gonna run. Okay.
On the count
Well, no,
of
you just start.
62.
You're like 3 and run.
But he used to do it all the time. So in that case, like counting down when you're going to go through a door is kind of, I'll call that normie.
I don't know if that's a battle cry.
Like you're on a stack about to go in the door.
Yeah. Like,
no, just barrel nod.
Well, sure, later on, right?
We
But-
learned that now.
Yeah.
But he was like, he was like, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And it's just murder would happen.
See, I
Carnage.
totally understand why battle cries and motivational speeches are deemed as cringy and normie, but man, do I love seeing it because it makes for great TikTok content.
It's great. And I think, just like all of these topics, we say this all the time, is that context matters.
Yes.
So during an op, useful.
Potentially.
Right? Like gets all eyes on you from hopefully your team to be like, hey, we're going to all do something coordinated right now.
Yeah.
Right? Open play? It could be.
I don't know. Makes for good content.
Sure.
I mean, because at the same time, somebody could view it as cringy. Earlier in the podcast, you talked about how Brian looked at his team and was like, this is my weapon today.
So look,
Hey, is it normie?
no, that's good leadership. So
That's pretty based.
Pre-game motivational speeches can go hardcore either way. And I used to play paintball a lot years and years
We're
ago.
going to go out there and we're going to cover the other team in all our high vis colors.
No, yeah.
It depends how like.
No. But I've seen some real bad ones.
Yeah, same.
Where you're just like, you feel bad for the guy. You're like, oh, you didn't prepare this at all. Like you're struggling to find the next words. Like, ugh. But then I've seen really, really good ones. And where you're like, oh, damn, this guy gets it.
Some people are good at public speaking to where they can satirically, ironically give, like, even though like the idea of giving a motivational speech for the game is like cringy, some people are just like, they're just good at it. Like JoJo can do it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
JoJo, he has that energy. Like we know we're playing a game, but like
do the kids call it Riz? Got that charisma? Is that what it is?
It is Riz.
Yeah.
JoJo's just good all around because his game briefs are fucking awesome too.
He's engaging. People love him.
Yeah, he gets everybody involved. It's like when I get hit, I'm gonna pull out a dead rag.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wait 30 seconds. Like it's like, oh, everybody does know.
Yeah, he's actually really good.
Everybody knows the rules. Okay.
Yeah, they just choose to not follow them.
My best, I've done motivational speeches in Airsoft, and sometimes they're pretty crazy, but my best one was the last Benghazi we did here when,
Oh, the Op4 one?
yes, when all the cops got called and we had to like assemble everybody, and basically I had to wake all the Op4 up and tell them, and I was just basically like, I basically framed it like, you guys are so badass. And that attack was so vicious and awesome and loud that 4 fucking counties called, and all these bitches are too worried about their sleep while we're out here fighting. You know what I mean? And everyone was just like, yeah. Like,
We don't need frags.
I was like, yeah, basically like we don't need frags for them to remember who we are, like that type of thing.
This is the best motivational speech. Works every time. Everybody, coach is right. If we want to win this, we have to believe in ourselves. The Disney Channel speech.
Yeah, dude. So this can go both ways, man. A bad motivational speech can do the opposite, or be funny. I don't know.
Depends.
Yeah.
If you have
I feel like it also falls into this. If you're playing Airsoft and you bring a full-size flag of any nature, those go hand in hand.
if one guy's willing to run out front without a gun and a flag,
I'm following him.
you have to follow him.
I'm not talking like
If you
taking
don't
photos
like,
in the parking lot with the flag you had rolled up in your car all day. I'm talking about like fucking pole and
Like
it's
on a
sticking.
pole,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but like,
normie.
if you're playing with a group of guys and one guy pulls out a flag, drops his gun, and runs out to a charge, you are a piece of shit for not following him.
True.
He has to say the only way you're not a piece of shit is if he says some really out of pocket shit before running out with the flag, you know?
This is for Ice Spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to leave that one alone. All right. Not following. It'd be great if he had, the flag and then the guy next to him's drumming. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Oh, now you just want a Civil War
Yeah,
reenactment.
you can't resist that. I don't care. I'm
If
going
you're
to walk out there
playing
with
and
him.
a guy with the flag charges out and a guy behind him with just drums also charges out behind him, you're an even bigger piece of shit for not following them.
Use
And
a
if
bitch, son.
there's a third guy with the flute, dude.
Then you're actually time traveled back to the American Revolution. You should probably find a gun.
Yeah.
But
Oh, my God. So battle cries and motivational speeches.
I'm going to lean towards no.
Yeah, like the
It's a lean though.
the speech, I
don't know,
in
man.
itself is not.
I've seen some good ones.
I've seen some good ones too, but I also do vividly remember the lion claws ones, and those were not great
okay,
ones. Oof.
okay. Do you know how I see it? Okay, so you've pied a lot of doors, you've entered a lot of rooms. You're way better at doing it now than you were the first time you played. When you were a normie, you just ran right in with your muzzle, exposed yourself, and got shot.
Sure.
So you cleared it like a normie.
Okay.
It's the same thing with motivational speeches and war cries. The first time you do it, you're probably not going to be great at it. You know, you don't have the timing, you know.
Yeah, but Lion Claws hired former 75th Ranger Regiment dudes to come out and be COs of the game, and they were the one that gave the motivational speeches, and they were still cringy.
Right.
They were pretty. Oh
Well,
my
they
god!
haven't. They
I
probably
know
haven't given enough of
You
those
know
speeches
exactly
to
what I'm talking
airsofters.
about.
Holy shit!
You know
Reading the room.
exactly what
Now,
I'm
with
talking
that said, I suck at giving
about.
motivational
Let this
speeches.
one go, because I know where this is going.
I suck at war cries.
So, yeah, repressed memory
I know exactly which one you're talking
brought
about.
forward. Yeah, this was at the end of a game, and there's a Lions Club game, and this guy, this 75th Ranger, he's a Hall of Famer, right? Like,
Yeah, Mad Max Mullen.
right? Yeah,
He wishes me a happy birthday every year.
me too.
Yeah.
good guy.
Great dude.
I don't know how he did this without laughing.
I think he believes it.
Oh God. This was at Scranton Lace Factory 2 or whatever the fuck. And at the end of the game,
Storm East.
Red Storm. He literally said these words: I would go to combat with any of you any day. And I started laughing because I was like, oh, I thought it was a joke. I wrote it down in my journal. Mad Max said a funny joke today. I laughed at it later. You know, like,
I rest my case.
Anchorman? No?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. All right. And he said those words, and I literally turned to Mario after I was done laughing, and I said, Mario, I wouldn't go to combat with any of you. I was like, you would get us all killed. Oh, dude, I could not believe.
You said that to us before too.
I could not believe that he fucking said that. With a
Rest
straight
my
face.
case.
Yeah.
That was pretty. Yeah, that one
Say?
was pretty. Like, I don't.
And I've been on both ends of it. I've had the Mad Max Mullen ones. I've had the Bubba Moore ones. No.
Yeah. That was pretty. That was so far ago. I repressed that memory.
But
Holy
at the same
shit.
time, I've been to a bunch of MSW games, and the MSW staff does tend to give some speeches before and op. Like, you know, I can remember the one at MUTC. I forgot who the NATO CO was, and he gave one standing on top of the shoot house in the back parking lot of MUTC. And I went, you know what? It was a pretty good speech. You didn't do that bad. Like, it's great.
Yeah, there were a bunch of leaders.
But
Yeah.
also at Milsom West, there's some legit physical challenges to overcome.
Yeah.
You know, like there's some, like there's a real physical challenge. You know,
It's about the friends you make along the way.
yeah. Like if it's fucking pouring, raining, and it's miserable, and like you're already walking and rucking, and it's
Could you,
like
yeah, even
there-
with all that though, could
there's
you imagine that Josh Warren would get up on that same walkway and tell everybody there that I would go to combat with you any
Fucking
day?
no.
Yeah, like
No.
that's so fucking bad.
I can tell you he would not be able to say that with a straight face.
No, he would
Yeah,
laugh.
no.
He'd be shitting. He'd be laughing so hard.
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
I look forward to his safety briefs every time I go to an MSW game.
dude.
I'm a
I
silly
would go
war
to
nerd.
combat with maybe a handful of you.
Like 4, and I would push you out front just to see where the enemy fire was coming from.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? And if you survived by some miracle, I would take you under my wing. And I would give you head pats.
Henceforth, normie.
Yeah, you make a good argument. You make a good argument.
I think it could be done very normie, but some people are just good at it. Some people are good at,
You're right.
you know.
Shit. I'm also not here to bully everyone. I'm just pointing out facts. Like,
Yeah. So
It's also who you're giving it to.
yeah, like who's the end audience here?
If the end audience is child soldiers, it's their first time playing, bro, get them hyped up.
Yeah. I
Like
get that.
let them be in that immersion. Like tell them that shit, bro. Let them have fun.
So other side of the spectrum, you do have a valid point there because when I was 14, 15, 16 years old going to Lion Claws games, yeah, I know 14-year-old me liked that. It was
Sure,
cool.
yeah.
It was, fucking Bubba Moore standing on the park bench outside the shopping mall before my first Lion Claws game, telling us that we were going to fuck the other team over and we were going to push them through and get them all the way out of the mall. Sure. I got hyped. I really, 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 I wish, thank God Milson West doesn't do it. Stop saying fucking ooh-rah and rah and shit. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Here's another one.
Yeah, unironically saying,
Yeah. Yeah.
hoorah, brother.
Yeah. Nah.
that's how. That's immediately how you can tell who was infantry and who wasn't in the Marine Corps. Anyway, if another Marine comes up to you and says "oorah," you're like, "Oh, hello, Pogue." Like fucking. I was like, infantry Marines don't say "oorah."
and what's the fucking army one? Like, whoop.
Who?
Yeah. I fucking stop doing that.
Well, ironic whoas I think are okay.
Yeah, in the same way that Alphonse randomly starts doing the army theme song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like when done in a fucking meme matter, hilarious.
Yeah.
Stop doing it during your motivational speeches.
Like everybody that has been infantry that I hear say "oorah," they use it as like an adjective. Like,
Yeah,
as an adjective.
it's a
they're just
joke.
Like, they're just like, or you could be "oorah" about it, but it's not like "oorah, brother."
No,
you know?
never. Yeah.
Like
the same
you
way.
can "oorah" it if you want. Like that's how casually it gets dropped.
So it may have changed since the 20 years since I've been out, but all the infantry guys just make noises. It's like tribal, guttural fucking noises. Like that. There's no oorah. It's just like, ha, like shit like that. Like it's just fucking noises. It's just fucking.
That's JoJo.
Or if they.
It's like the Nico Ortiz skit where he's portraying a Marine and he's just like, rah, rah, rah.
No, not even raw, dude. That's he doesn't know. But like yut. Shit like that. Like JoJo. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like
it's JoJo.
Like from the outside looking in, you'd be like, are these guys like retarded? What's happening? Like, holy shit. That's how you know. If anybody uses those, you're just like, oh, you typed shit into a computer. Hello.
You were a cook.
I gotta
Yeah,
say though,
hello.
I gotta say it is counter normie to be able to hype up new players. If you can hype up normies doing the thing, then it's not a normie thing.
Or is it the most normie thing because you're hyping up normies?
No, get the normies hyped
Well,
up.
not all new players are normies.
Normie-
I imagine when you're successful at hyping up the normies, there's at least one player with his gun above his head going like this.
That's okay.
I'll do that for him.
We all watch Star Wars. Like if you're on an Op 4 team, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
Well, it's not even that. Like,
If you want to be a sand monster, do it. Send it.
In the
Throw
very-
your AK over your head.
in the very beginning of all this, we defined what a normie was. I don't think that like first timers are normies. I think they're casuals, and I think there's a distinct difference between a casual and a normie.
Yeah. I mean, like think of your everyday life in the real world, right? When do you ever get to just ooga booga with the boys? Sometimes
Saturday
you just
and
got to
Sunday
ooga
while we play
booga.
Airsoft.
And you could do that in Airsoft. You can ooga booga.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. It's fun. to
Airsoft
ooga
can be
booga.
anything to anyone, right?
Yeah, man.
It's my costume party, and I'm going to participate how I want to.
That's it.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, so Sunday, I bought a car.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. I saw that. I forgot to bring that up.
Dave used the Zulu
thought there
credit
was gonna-
card
I
to
thought
make a
there was gonna
personal
be-
car purchase.
I thought there was going to be two.
So this particular individual only had one. This wasn't the same guy.
Oh, he said he was going to. Oh,
This was a
that's right.
different
He
guy.
said he was going to be there June 1st. That's this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting at registration, babying my 85-year-old knees because apparently I'm fucking decrepit now. Guy comes over and he's just like, hey. I'm like, hey. He's like, how
you doing?
Yeah. What's up, pal? What's up, chief? You know, like,
I'm not your pal, guy.
yeah. I'm not your guy, Gaylord.
I'm not your gaylord, buddy.
Yeah. So fuck. So he comes up and he's like, hey, on the podcast, you were talking about a car. And I was like, yes, you have my attention. And he's like, I have one. I was like, oh, cool. When can you bring it by? He's like, I drove it here. I was like, all right. How are you getting home? He's like, my girlfriend followed me. I was like, really? So we went over and yeah, he brought a car. He took the tags off. We made the exchange and I put the key in. That thing fired up. Like this could be first car.
Instead, it's on the field in front of the apartment.
Yeah, yeah. Like it just fired right up. It was great. So
When it's time for his first car, you just take him to the field. You're like, all right, pick one.
pick anyone you'd like, son.
No guarantee it will run.
Yeah. So I drive through the parking lot and I drive up the ramp. And as soon as I drive up the ramp, I radio to the refs. I'm like, hey, does anybody see a white car go up onto the field? And then as soon as I did that, I floored it. And I drove all the way into CQB and I started doing like my 15-point turn because I wanted it to fit in a particular spot.
Yeah.
And as I'm doing the 14-point turn, I look over and I see Dylan and the rest of the refs like walk up the ramp. And then I see Dylan reach his radio and go, oh my God, Dave, you're going to want to come up and see this. You're never going to believe this. And I'm dying laughing. I was like, it's fucking me. And so I'm still doing my 14-point turn. And I was just like, oh man, who is it? Who's up there? And then I opened the door and then they were like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, bought a car.
I woke up on the field after lunch to play a full field conquest game. I was like, oh shit, there's another car.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Couldn't be there yesterday.
The placement of that car made a difference.
It did. Actually, yeah, it did. It cut down that whole sight line. So we get that other guy, get the two more.
Yeah. I'll talk to my neighbor. He's got some shit going on. So once he gets that taken care of, we can talk about cars with him.
Yeah. What about the other guy? Oh, he's this
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah.
And then that guy, the one in the comments section, he has two of them. He said he'll be here June 1st. And I was like, bring the cars.
Yeah, bring him. I'll just cut him a check in the parking lot.
Just bring them.
Ouch, my knees. But yeah, we put it in place and it seems to have made a difference for sure.
You should flip the cars, use the profit to get nicer and nicer cars. Eventually,
Just like-
eventually we'll have a Ferrari.
There's Bentleys out there.
Yeah,
Shit.
up on the field.
Um,
We'll get Evan's Corvette up there eventually.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
we was like trading up from a paperclip to get to Evan's car.
Yep.
But it worked great. It actually cut down the sight line and it definitely made a difference for whoever's spawning on the far side to be able to push up close enough to the apartments to be effective, denying the strong side of the apartment. So it worked pretty well. You get a couple more vehicles in there. And the best part is it still runs. It runs fine. So if at
we
any
ever
point
needed to move it.
if at any point we're like, it doesn't quite work here, we could just move it.
Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I will say the other dude that said he has the two cars, he was like, I don't know if they run.
That's okay. We'll push them.
Yeah.
That's fine. Or we'll tow them up there or whatever. We'll figure it out.
Do they all have to be in this city?
No.
Can they be in other random spots, like
Yeah.
Like where?
on the hill?
No,
By
it's a-
Fuel Depot?
No, because I want the city to look like a city.
Right.
Cars driving the city, whatever this, a Chevy Cobalt is not going to be off-roading, and also Fuel Depot may not, there may be changes made to that. There's a bunch of shit going on, but
Richie had an idea of like, get like 50 cars and make a scrapyard down here. I was like, yeah, it's cool, but that's
still just a scrapyard.
still just a scrapyard.
Yeah. There might be some licenses we need for that.
I looked into it. As long as you don't sell a single part from any car, you don't have to register as a scrapyard.
That explains my neighbor.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to wrap it up there.
We're at 2 hours.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
And with that, everybody, don't be a dickhead. Don't film yourself doing bad shit.
No full auto retaliating.
Full out retaliating. You should just get out of the gene pool.
Lay down and die.
Don't do bad shit.
Don't do bad shit.
Filming or not.
Yeah. And then don't show the bad shit to the fucking staff claiming that somebody else did some bad shit.
Again, lay down and die.
Yeah. Blood damage is great. Stay on the field.
Bully Grimnir.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
It's that time of the year.
New DMR rules this weekend.
New DMR rules this weekend. God, those fucking tags.
Yep.
Anyway,
Open 9 to 6 now, too.
that's right. We're in our summer hours. Enjoy our summer hours.
And the $5 increase.
That too. I was going to mention that part. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's an extra 2 hours of play at an awesome field.
Right. With that, good night. God bless. We're out.
Okay, bye.